Ladies and gentlemen, welcome in to episode number 51 of This Week in Wrestling. I'm Kurt, and as you can see, no RK. Uh, we're doing this live for the first time. This was all RK's idea, actually. And we set a time to start going live. We're behind schedule as it is because I've been waiting on him. He has yet to show up. So I'm going to do this thing solo. We're going to get into episode 51. Let's dive into, let's start with maybe like the news. We'll talk about some of the WWE. What are we doing?
Introducing your new podcast champion of the world, RK.
What are you doing?
Hey, what? Get rid of this. I already told you about this. Get rid of it. You don't get any fancy graphics from me anymore. No more fancy videos. This is what you get. All we're going to do today is we're going to sit here and we're going to listen to the tears of my millions and millions of haters.
Can't listen to
tears. Hey. Remember when you said this thing wasn't real? Oh, it looks pretty real to me.
You got that at Walmart and wrote on it with Sharpie. What are you talking about?
You know where I got this from. I got it from defeating you in the ultimate battle of becoming the last real champion. See, you don't even have anything to say.
It's because you're an idiot.
Throw your insults, peasant. You're just mad that I am here to ruin podcasting for everyone.
Look around. You're definitely doing that. So thanks.
Quiet on set. Places, everybody. And action.
We're back, ladies and gentlemen. This is episode 51 of the Top Rope Renegades. My name is Kurt. That is RK. We are ready to rock and roll here on the YouTubes. We're live, man. This was your idea. Pitched it, and we're doing it. We're doing it live. How you doing? How we feeling?
We're good doing live, and if you're having mic issues, there's nothing we can do about this time. So no going back here and going forward and going.
Yeah.
Anyways,
yeah,
nonetheless,
you sound good. I hope I sound fine, and I hope we're good.
You sound great. We're here. We are doing our first live stream of the show at episode 51. We probably could have waited till episode 52. You know, the penultimate. We're on the penultimate episode right now of the 1 year mark.
We are, man. We're right there on the edge. The fact that we've been doing this for so long is crazy, and it's fun. It's been a fun ride, and looking forward to a year's worth of episodes here on the channel.
I honestly, starting this, I didn't think we'd make it this far. So here we are. And hopefully, here's to another, let's reach that 100 episode marks next year.
Yeah, it's cost me, relationships, friendships, work, and all sorts of stuff for doing this. And I'm committed to the cause, I guess. Kidding. I don't have a relationship, never did. Anyway,
We've covered that in the past. We know.
That was part of the interest. With that being said, we got quite a bit of stuff to get into. I'm gonna lead into this to let people know when they watch this. My old laptop where I was storing notes to have on my TV over here to my left has officially shit the bed. Me and RK tried to fix it over this, and nothing has prevailed. So I'm in the market, and hopefully we'll have something. Yeah, very aware. So the notes from me this week from the weekly shows may be a little off, but we'll try our best to deliver it. We got a lot to talk about. We're backtracking a little bit to SmackDown post WrestleMania, where the classic TLC match took place, TNA Rebellion, and then your Raw, NXT, of course, and SmackDown recaps from this past week. We got a lot of stuff to get into, but there is something that Chris Van Fleet, the man, the myth, the legend himself, I guess you could call him the biggest guy in the podcast game when it comes to the one-on-one interviews. He's posted something called it's just 7 questions.
Doesn't have one of those right there.
He doesn't have the podcast championship. So he posted 7 questions that I'm gonna ask, and we'll both answer as we go through these up. And if you're wondering if we're gonna do the guest the wrestler, that'll be back next week, but we're replacing it with this week. So I'm gonna ask you first here: who is the wrestler that locked you into becoming a fan of professional wrestling?
Well, we all know the match, and we all know the 2 competitors, but one of them will always be the wrestler that got me hooked on wrestling, and that's Shawn Michaels. And vividly remembering that the match that got me hooked on wrestling with him, and it was against Razor Ramon, the ladder match for the Intercontinental title.
Match-wise, for me, I don't know if I remember the match, truly. I remember a promo, and it was The Rock when The Rock was a bad guy. He was no longer the blue chipper. I remember it popping up on my TV, and then me being like, that dude's awesome, and I want to watch this now.
Like Nation of Domination Rock?
I think so. I was walking around the house doing the eyebrow raise. Yeah. Anyway. The second question that was asked was, who is your new quote unquote favorite wrestler, a new age wrestler that is your favorite?
Well, that's an easy answer. It's Gunther all the way. That dude is old school heel all the way, and I think that's what is attractive about him as a wrestler, is that he buys into the kayfabe. He keeps kayfabe in his interviews. He's old school heel tactic. That's great stuff.
Mine. I think he still counts for this. Braun Breaker is probably my new aged favorite person to watch. Incredible in the ring, and being teamed up with Paul Heyman and Seth Rollins, the to the moon aspect of his career, I think is we're gonna see it skyrocket. Who is the one wrestler that makes you laugh the most?
I'm going to probably preface this. It's not always laugh. It's just completely engaged by what he does. Karrion Kross, everything he does, okay. It's either the stuff he does that can be hilarious at times, but it's also super serious. And everything he does is just phenomenal what he can do with the minimal amount of time that he gets. And when we get into the news, there's actually reports on Karrion Kross moving forward that's promising for the future. But Karrion Kross is probably the one that makes me most excited when I see them on screen.
I took it as who makes me laugh the most, and the answer is R-Truth. Because for some reason, every time he's on, I'm gonna laugh. I know I'm gonna laugh. Mainly dating back to the whole Judgment Day with R-Truth being involved was comedic gold every week on Monday Night Raw. But I like that Karrion Kross answer, actually. I do, because it makes me think of the moment where the Wyatts got a hold of the Miz, and he did that video on X. We said, how long ago was it?
That was fucking hilarious. That video was hilarious.
He's dead. He's clearly dead. Alrighty. Who is the wrestler that you always come back to? Some would call it the comfort wrestler, or just the wrestler that if you watch, whether it be currently or old matches, that you can always go back to, and you're gonna that's your guy.
Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Ooh, I like that answer. It's a good one.
Always entertaining, always 100 miles per hour. and he was probably the first in-betweener where was he a bad guy? Was he a good guy? No, he was just riding that line of both all the time. So
Mine, for some reason, is Randy Orton. Because Randy Orton has been around the entire time I've been watching wrestling fully and locked in. And old Randy Orton, new Randy Orton. It's always like, yeah, you can rely on Randy Orton to entertain you. So that is 4 questions now. We have 3 to go. The 5th one was, who's a wrestler that you miss the most?
miss the most?
Whether passed away or retired that doesn't perform anymore is kind of the premise there.
That's a tough question because there's a lot.
I'm thinking myself, don't worry.
Man, that's a tough one.
Actually, I know exactly who mine is.
Honestly, I probably have to go with. I got to go with Shawn Michaels on this one as well because he just had such charisma about him. He one of the most charismatic superstars of all time. Obviously, a cliche when it comes to Shawn Michaels, but it's true. Every time he was on the screen, he was always just entertaining, and I wish that there's really not anybody currently that I feel as hyped as about when they were wrestling.
Mine is Eddie Guerrero. The timeline of when I really got into wrestling was Eddie was doing his thing, and then he passed away. And that was, I want to say, for when I was watching pro wrestling, when Eddie passed away, that was like the first death on like something like that I got to like, I guess, deal with is the way to put it. I don't know. It's the first like time where you're like, oh wow, that's kind of crazy. We're never gonna see Eddie Guerrero wrestle again. Whoa. And looking back, yeah, Eddie Guerrero, he was awesome. 2 questions remaining. This one is one of my favorites. Who is the wrestler that you would protect with your life, that you would take a bullet for, that you would die on the hill to defend?
Thea Hale.
That's fair. That's fair.
She's got such a bright future, man. Nobody's stopping her, man. No, but seriously, I'm picking Thea Hale.
I wonder, do you think you can guess mine? With all the conversations we had, I don't know if I would have guessed Thea Hale for you. I would have went with another female, and it would have been Stephanie Vaquer. But I was wondering, do you think you know who I would die on a hill for to defend?
It can't be John Cena because he's done anyways.
No. It's almost like guess the wrestler. I'll just say it's a female wrestler.
Fallon Henley?
No, it's Roxanne Perez. I will die on that hill for Roxanne Perez. Her Io Sky, but Io Sky I think speaks for herself. But Roxanne Perez, yeah, I was going to bat for Roxanne when we were starting to watch NXT, and I was like, yeah, she's legit. Roxanne and Thea Hale, that makes sense. And then the last one is, who is the wrestler that you yourself are rooting for to succeed the most?
Austin Theory.
Ooh, okay.
That dude is legit, and he's not given. He's got a bad rap, I think, because of being Vince's pet, but he's still around. And after all the recent releases, he's still around. Also, is Karrion Kross, which is a good sign.
That actually is who I'm rooting for the most, is Karrion Kross.
But Austin Theory, I think that he's got a bright future. He's got the look. He's got the mic skills. He's a good wrestler. Everything's there. They just need to find something for him that he can latch onto.
Agreed. And I'm going Karrion Kross, and I think it speaks for itself when it comes to me and you. Just go watch any of the videos he's posted. Did you watch the documentary that came out on YouTube yet?
Which, WrestleMania 9?
No, his own. He posted.
Well, no, I'm going to after this, obviously.
Yeah, I watched the start of it. And I was like,
I want to watch the deathmatch guy as well. Still.
Oh yeah,
Kyle Ren.
But I started watching the Karrion thing. I was like, you know what? I kind of think maybe I should watch this with RK just because. But it started off. You saw one of the experts when he was on the Vegas Strip, and the guy came up and he's like, "I'm Roman Reigns. I'm a stripper."
He's funny. He's funny. He's funny.
It's like a 43-minute documentary thing he put together. With that being said, I got nothing else to add to here. I think we're kind of rolling to the news. I think it's time to get everybody's favorite segment. What do you think, Art?
It is. But before the news this week, I got a special video for us.
Why are we small? They're not dead, bro.
Well, I mean, you're right. Unless they sign with AEW, then they're dead to me.
Fair enough. Yeah, the releases. We're gonna get down. We'll get through the headlines, but I'm sure we're gonna have a good long talk about the releases. And I have a thing that I think I need to get off my chest when it comes to releases. Anyway, let's get into the headlines for this week's news recap. It is the rumors, the news, the rumors, the innuendo. It is the hit piece. What in The Rock is happening? Several people in WWE were confused by The Rock's decision to not help promote WrestleMania 41, but they'd go on the Pat McAfee show to talk about how he would have booked the main event differently. There's also some confusion about The Rock's claim that later in the week everything's a work, even though he made it clear during the Pat McAfee show that he wasn't even in character. He was just The Rock. So yeah, I watched that interview and I turned it off.
I don't know what's going on, man. He was the payoff. He was the payoff for WrestleMania, and we didn't get it. We got Travis Scott instead.
Yep, we got Travis Scott.
It's so weird.
Back together again. Hulk Hogan and Eric Bischoff turned back the clock this past week with a vintage black and white promo in the spirit of the NWO. Hulk Hogan and Eric Bischoff have launched Real American Freestyle, an unscripted freestyle wrestling league injected with storytelling and colorful characters. Real American Freestyle looks to blend the drama of pro wrestling and reality shows with the unscripted competition of freestyle wrestling. Now, help me out here. This is not pro wrestling.
No, it's actual fighting. They already got like some ex-UFC fighters signed on.
Okay, that's what I thought.
It's actual fighting, but they're going to blend it with the storylines of wrestling. Needless to say, this has been tried before. It's been tried in the 70s. It's been tried in the 90s. It's never worked. But we do have Eric Bischoff and Hulk Hogan behind it. So.
Let me tell you something here, brother. It didn't have my hands on it. And now that the Hawksters' hands are on it, brother, we're going to take it to the moon. And I got Eazy-E with me. And we're the NWO, brother. And I'm going to run wild, brother.
Eazy-E's dead. Yeah, definitely dead. Yeah. Unlike Tupac, apparently still alive.
Cuba.
Anyways, nonetheless, I'm intrigued. I'll tune in. I'll want to see what it's all about.
I'll check it out. We'll see what happens, though. Is Liv Morgan leaving WWE for Hollywood? Liv Morgan has announced on a recent episode of WWE Raw that she would be stepping away from the TV to shoot a Hollywood film. The project has now been revealed. Liv will star in a movie titled Bad Lieutenant Tokyo, directed by acclaimed Japanese filmmaker Takashi Miike. It's small font down there. I can't really read. Do you know anything about this director and or any of his works? You're a movie guy.
Yes and no. I've looked it up. I don't have any. Let me quickly look it up here. Takashi.
The speculation went a little crazy, but they're like, "Oh my gosh, she's gonna be doing a Marvel movie." It's like,
no, she's playing the daughter of a like rich like diplomat or president or some sort, and she gets kidnapped. Yeah. So Takashi Miike, his films are he did Pandora from that was a music video.
So
Let's see, anything that I know.
Oh, so this just makes me think of things like Resident Evil, the episode where you're Leon and you have to escort the president's daughter. Resident Evil. I don't want to say which one it is because I'll be wrong. 2?
13 Assassins. I do remember that movie. That was about the
Hey.
samurai, the 13 samurais. Anyways, nonetheless, he's a he does he's done a lot of movies in Japan. A lot.
Hey,
since like
good.
1995.
Cool for Liv Morgan. I mean, like, let's not fool ourselves here. Look, you take one look at her, she's gorgeous, and she had a really good, she's really good when it comes to acting in the WWE. So maybe she'll kill it in that role in future projects. Am I wrong? She is also signed. She's signed with that Paradigm, correct?
A lot of people are signed with Paradigm.
Right. So I think, yeah, I mean, good for Liv. And I don't know, you may have the news, but maybe I'm spoiling a little bit here, that they're not taking the titles away from Liv and Raquel either. They're going to stick with them. So
who would they give them to? Kaden Carter and Katana Chance?
Oh, can't do that. Maybe the team of Shayna and Zoe.
So hey, Zoe didn't get released. I think she has a future too. She could just learn how to cut a promo.
Should we do it? Should we talk about the releases right now? Should we just get it out of the way?
What do you want to talk about, Kurt?
The WWE releases.
Do you want to talk about all the people losing their fucking minds over it, or do you want to talk about how it's a business, or
that, you know what? Listen, it is a business, and that's what I don't understand about people. The only people that are up in arms are people that hate the WWE and they want something to be upset about. It is a business. When you break it down, I am a massive Dakota Kai fan. I have been. She's injury prone, and sometimes her promos weren't great. You won't ever hear me saying she's not good in the ring because she was, but she was injury prone and it was time to move on. Braun Strowman, what else has Braun Strowman left to do? Hell, retirement could be around the corner for Braun Strowman. He's not bothered by it. He was out there on a jet ski fishing, having a good time. Cora Jade surprised me a little bit. I wasn't. I didn't really see that one coming. Cora getting released, and then the comments of something about body shaming coming out in the past today or yesterday underneath a Dave Meltzer quoted tweet or something. I don't know if you saw that. Gigi and Cora, yeah. Anyway, Cora, she also had some injury issues as well. So okay, Gigi Dolan sucks. I love Gigi. She wasn't going anywhere. It was time to move on. I will say between us, though, Riley Osborne getting released was kind of caught me off guard because I thought he had potential.
Riley Osborne's really fucking good, and wherever he lands, he's gonna. I would not be surprised at all if a number of these names end up in TNA.
I saw that going around. Gigi, especially Cora. Cora's already done TNA stuff while she was in NXT.
So I wouldn't be surprised if that happened. There's been talks that AEW would probably be interested in Dakota Kai.
Yeah, that makes sense.
As for the others, though, Gallus, I mean,
released. I mean,
they were down on freaking Evolve.
Yeah, Oro Mensa, and I saw something at Jakara Jackson. Jakara is talented too. Jakara will be an AEW.
It all makes sense now that promo they cut on NXT just this past week of them breaking up the group.
It makes you wonder.
They knew something was coming.
If Sean knew the releases, it kind of told him, "We'll give you a cool little goodbye moment here."
Yeah,
on TV together. Oro, we'll see. TNA. I think he would go to TNA. He'd do his thing in TNA. Jakara will go to AEW. That is one that I'm very confident in. She's already talking about it, so she's going to AEW. Cora Jade's interesting. That's one I'm kind of stuck on, but I get it. She had the ACL injury. We talked about it. I was high on Cora Jade, but I said it myself.
Since she's come back, I've even told this to you. She has not looked good.
Nope. And I've said that as a Cora Jade fan. Post injury, she was not the same. And I love Cora. I hope she gets it figured out and she does something great. But I don't know. The NXT locker room also just seems messy behind the scenes. Like I saw somebody that said NXT should have its own real reality show. It would probably do numbers.
Well, you got a bunch of fucking 20-somethings working with each other each day, and you hear of all the wrestlers that are dating and not dating, and Thea Hale's dating What?
Somebody should check on Tatum Paxley though. Tatum Paxley lost her tag team partner Gigi Dolan and her husband, Big Body Javi, got released as well in these releases.
Yeah, and her friend Shotzi's gone.
Shotzi's gone. Shotzi, I kind of get Shotzi being released.
Shotzi, I guess she's got a ton of stuff that she does outside of wrestling. She's huge into the horror scene. If you check out her Instagram, I've actually told you this before. Check out her Instagram; it's a lot of fun. She's always doing something horror related. She's really deep into that world, and she's probably that's probably what she wants to do. I wouldn't be, we always sit here and say, "Oh, they were released. WWE's evil. They're just releasing all these people." What if some of them asked for their releases? Said, "Hey, I'm doing this stuff. I want to focus on this. Can I get my release, please?"
Braun Strowman's release didn't catch me off guard because in my mind I said, well, what else is there for Braun to do besides if you bring him out, he's just a big body to squash down somebody and then I guess lose like you did with Carmelo. I don't know, but Braun feels like something that Tony Khan will throw money for. Braun Strowman.
Oh, that big body, 100% he would.
We'll see if any of these releases end up on AEW, but I think the reality of the situation is it is a business. It happens. It happens every year, by the way. Releases happen every year.
There's always up and coming wrestlers that need spots, and if they see something better than them, then they see what they already got. You got to make room.
Got to move up to
you can't keep a roster of 200 wrestlers unless you're a billionaire, personally, or have a billionaire father.
I see what you did there.
A lot of respect for that, for the guy that owns the Jacksonville Jaguars.
So yeah, that's kind of the thing on the releases. If you pop it into the live while we're live and you have anything that you want to talk about with the releases, hey, let us know. Anyway, RK, take away the news from the past week. No more talk on the releases unless somebody is here with us and they want to talk about the releases. More than welcome. Post your comment. We'll take a look at it. I don't know. Before you go to the news, give me one of the names that you think shouldn't have been released. Go.
Shouldn't have been released?
Should have stuck around. Who you got?
Should have stuck around.
One of those names that was released that you were like, I don't know about that one. Personally, it's Cora for me, but honestly, it's Riley Osborne. I think he's talented.
I would have to probably say Riley Osborne too, just because he was extremely athletic. Everything that he was on TV with Chase U, his matches were entertaining. They always were. So I'm surprised to see him go, but we don't know. Maybe he wanted to go somewhere else. Maybe he wanted to do something else.
Thea Hale, the last one standing from Chase U.
That's not true. Chase U's back up and running. We're back, baby.
OG Chase U. Thea Hale still holds it down.
She's an alumni. She's an alumni.
Alumni of Chase University. Take it away. What do we got in the news from this past week?
Hey, did you know that I heard in advance of WrestleMania weekend that all the stuff that went down with Becky and Lyra was all Becky's idea? I heard this before WrestleMania. I just didn't want to bring it up then because, I didn't want to ruin it for anybody.
Huh. Oh, don't reveal your source.
But this is basically what Brian Alvarez has said this week.
Yeah, he's a clown.
This whole thing was Becky's idea. It was all Becky's idea. I heard about it in advance. Becky wants to come back. She wants to win the title. Then turn on Lyra the next night. He knew about this all beforehand, but it's only bringing it up now. Any of us could sit around here and say we knew about stuff after it happened.
That's what I say with these dirt sheets. It's a prediction. It's just a prediction.
This isn't even a prediction. He brought this out after it happened. Oh, I knew. I knew.
You're right. I knew. RK, you're correct. I did know actually that Travis Scott was going to come out and eat Crossroads from Cody Rhodes. I knew that was happening at WrestleMania. The Rock called me and said he wasn't showing up for WrestleMania. I just didn't want to tell anybody. Well, did he also mention because he called me too? He mentioned that part, but did he let you know that he was going to go on Pat's show the next week and just basically say he wouldn't have booked, like that, or no? Oh, I had to keep that secret. He told me to keep it secret. Well, it happened because we knew about it, so it's okay. We can talk about it now because we knew. It's so stupid. It's so fucking dirt sheets, man. All they do is talk shit, and they just they hide all this stuff behind a paywall, and people pay for it for some reason. We're giving it to you for free. We're giving it to you for free. We're reading some of the shit that the dirt sheets put out. We have no source says per se. So you say. RK May, I don't know. The dude prediction.
How many things I've gotten right this year?
I don't
Last
know.
year?
I've got he's gotten at least, we'll just throw a random number of 20, and I've gotten 1. And I'm losing that battle. But we see this stuff just like everybody else does, and we are reporting it just to give our opinion on either if okay it makes sense or no, this is the stupidest shit I've ever heard, because Dave Meltzer and Brian Alvarez think they know everything. They don't. Shout out to Sean Ross Sapp for sucking. I don't
All
know
right,
why.
well, that's one hell of a shout out. But
He did.
many talents in WWE were happy to have Rusev back in the fold when he returned on Raw. And sources say that WWE intends to have Rusev back in the mix in a major way.
He is booked. I think he's got a match against Otis Monday Night Raw. So that'll be a big.
Plus,
what are they?
Nothing
Meat match?
major yet. That's a meat match.
That's a meat match right there.
Potential NXT call-ups are saying that Tony D'Angelo is a name that has been floated around.
Interesting. If Tony D is going to be wrestling sucks, grow up. Cool story, brother. We're still watching. Thanks for tuning in though. Anyway, Tony D, I don't know. That's interesting, right? Because
I think he has main roster skill.
Unless Stacks, I don't know. Stacks.
I think this whole storyline with Stacks would be to get Tony out of NXT. So kind of actually works for the whole angle.
Shout out to I don't know who I am in the chat, saying no one is watching, so he's leaving. Well, you were watching, so we appreciate that. Don't care. Have a good day, buddy. Hope you have.
Don't feed the trolls, Kurt.
No, hope they have a good. Hope he has a good night, man. Wrestling sucks. Grow up. Well, then why are you watching a wrestling podcast if it sucks so bad? Why are we somehow on your feed? That's all.
That is true
about it. That's all I gotta say. You're watching.
There is a pitch for John Cena and Travis Scott to work a tag team match together at some point this year. One of the names floated around in that tag team match is Bad Bunny, with a partner on the same level of John Cena.
I don't know who that would be.
Cody Rhodes.
Yeah, Cody. I guess.
Makes no sense.
Does Cody get the title back at SummerSlam, or are we going to wait till the end of the year? I don't know.
I honestly would think it's probably the end of the year.
Yeah.
I think maybe John runs it with it for the year.
Fair enough.
Dave Meltzer's at it again. He was always told that The Rock was not scheduled for WrestleMania 41. At one point, someone even in WWE told Meltzer, go in there and report it, that he's absolutely not coming because he might get so mad that he'll come.
Okay. Fuck off, Dave. I hate that.
Meltzer was also told that The Rock's creative vision for Cody Rhodes to eventually turn heel is not the plan in WWE. However, there is at least a chance that The Rock could force it to happen due to his influence in TKO.
I feel like The Rock can do whatever the hell he wants. Is that fair to say?
I mean, yeah, he sits on the board, so he really probably could do whatever he wants. But I still think that there's some creative control on Triple H's part, I would hope.
Not if The Rock puts his foot down.
Yeah, it's true. It is said that WWE seems to be looking to bring WrestleMania back to Las Vegas within the next 3 to 5 years.
Okay. Now, I don't know about that, because doesn't Tennessee has one coming up? Indianapolis gets one.
Yeah, but that one's not actually rumored to be till 2032.
Okay, and then I know Minnesota has one because they got duped out of one recently. So, yeah, I guess Vegas could come back. But I know there's a lot of people that are clamoring for...
I think there's only 2 guaranteed cities in the next 5 years, and that's New Orleans and Tennessee.
Because the new stadium will be finished. So, New Orleans, Tennessee. I thought Minnesota was supposed to get theirs, but maybe not. And obviously, I think we'll get one in the UK. It's got to happen. They got to have a WrestleMania in the UK. Now, is that in the next timeline of this? Probably not. So I think is it bold to say that we'll get a Vegas WrestleMania before a UK one? Probably not. it probably will happen again because I'm sure they made a lot of money in Vegas. And Vegas made a lot of money from the WWE
Oh, yeah.
in town.
Another AEW star is out with injury, this time upwards of 1 year. Brian Cage is out with a torn quad.
Oof. Oof.
And it's reported that he'll be out for about a year. It is claimed that Finn Balor is expected to turn on Dominic Mysterio at Night of Champions in Saudi Arabia. And then their feud will continue through SummerSlam in August.
When is Night of Champions?
I think in July.
I got it here. June 28th.
Yeah, okay, end of June.
I saw Finn had posted something with the demon involved in the picture saying like Rise or something like that. I was like, oh, bringing the demon back maybe? I don't know. We'll see.
We need at least one more match with Finn Balor's demon. The main event match at Backlash between WWE champion John Cena and Randy Orton will be billed as one last time.
Well, we had once in a lifetime with John Cena and The Rock, and we got twice in a lifetime. But with this being John Cena's final year, it may be the last singles match we get between the two. And it makes sense. It's in St. Louis too, Randy's hometown. All the buzz for Randy to lose to John.
It was mentioned that people in charge of AAA are saying everyone on the roster needs to start learning English and also learn to work more of an American style following WWE's acquisition of the promotion.
No, don't. English, I guess, but a different style, no. Stay lucha. Keep lucha. Don't change
as anyone that knows the business, Gunther is said to have asked for time off from the WWE. That's why he was indefinitely suspended after choking out Pat McAfee.
So, like, how long of a time are we talking? Like, long enough to he'll come back at Backlash and win? Or is he somehow going to lose the Pat McAfee at Backlash and then be so
Ain't no way he's fucking losing to Pat
That's
McAfee.
what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Who's getting wrote off? Because one of those, if Hunter loses to Pat McAfee, the embarrassment should not allow him back on TV. If Pat loses to Gunther, Pat dies. And I think Pat dies. So
there ain't no way Pat McAfee beats Gunther. There ain't no way.
I'm pulling. Hey, Naptown, Indianapolis represent. I'm pulling for my guy Pat.
WWE is expected to make a tremendous offer to Mariah May when she becomes a free agent this summer.
I think that's been hitting the circles of the IWC for a while now, and Mariah May, she could be something, a star in WWE. We get her versus Tiffany Stratton. That's gonna be a thing.
Which one's the Temu version?
Neither. They're both gorgeous women.
It is noted that Karrion Kross is expected to get extended opportunities on WWE television moving forward.
Good. You know what? Put the title on him. Do it. You could cook with him and Scarlett with the look at the NXT title run. I know it's a different time period, blah, blah, blah. Triple H was behind that booking. He knows how to book it. Him and Scarlett could cook up some good stuff there.
Karrion Kross got absolutely fucked by Vince McMahon coming up to the main roster.
Oh, 100%.
Absolutely killed any and all momentum that he had. And he's been paying for it since. And he's only really lately started to get back the following. First, he had that horrible bondage setup gimmick that he had when he first came up. And then he was part of factions all the time. And just kind of having his genius buried in a faction is just ridiculous. He needs to be the solo doing his thing.
Yep. Him and Scarlett run the world. Do it.
Baron Corbin told Busted Open Radio that Gable Stevenson rubbed some people in the wrong way backstage during his time in NXT.
I can see it. Overconfident, cocky, Olympic gold medalist, whatever you want to, He's a badass when it comes to wrestling on the mats like that, but didn't do too hot.
Like he was hyped up, and then nothing ever happens. So,
and then he went back to college and was very hyped up and lost to someone else. And underdog story. That was a cool moment.
TNA is planning to hold Bound for Glory on Sunday, October 12th, 2025. But no location has been confirmed yet.
Yeah, TNA. We'll talk about Rebellion later. TNA pay-per-views are pretty good. They've been pretty good.
TNA has already started talking to Ace Austin about a new deal, and hopeful they will be able to sign him again.
Yeah, TNA, man. I was gonna say that a second ago and keep going on with TNA. They may be the better than AEW. They might be better than AEW.
Another wrestler under the AEW umbrella is out with injury. That is Billy Starks. She missed the CMLL show on Sunday because she was apparently hurt in her match the previous night.
Shout out to Indiana's own Billy Starks. She's got a bright future. She's young. She's talented. I guess she is on Ring of Honor, so she is under that umbrella. Yeah, you're right. That sucks.
It is said that Roxanne Perez, which is already obvious, but as well Julia, are called up to the main roster and will continue to appear on Raw.
Already called those two up, huh?
Well, Roxanne makes sense, but
Roxanne, Julia, I mean, fair enough. And then I would think that maybe Stephanie's not far behind unless they want to let her just.
They got to be careful with Stephanie. She's hot right now. She's probably the hottest thing in the women's division, period, right now. And they got to capitalize on that momentum with the main roster eventually, sooner than later. They've already teased it with a couple matches, but you don't want to risk the fans burning out before she even makes the main roster.
Yeah, who is she? What match does she have coming up?
Well, it's a match between Jordan and
Julia, right? Winner of that faces.
Yeah.
I assume it may be Jordan Grace versus Stephanie. If you really want to get Stephanie to the main roster quickly, you have Jordan beat her, but I don't know. I really don't.
Yeah, well, like I said, they got to capitalize on her momentum sooner than later.
I figured Jordan would already be on the main roster. Just me. I figured she'd already be on the main roster, but
well, it looks like they're clearing some spots. So
they have cleared room.
The Office of London Mayor Sadiq Khan released a report on the economic impact of recent major sporting events in the city, which says the mayor remains committed to making London WrestleMania's first international destination.
Yeah, I said that a second ago when we were talking about WrestleManias. The first international WrestleMania, I think, will happen in London. It makes sense. But with the amount of push that they are giving Australia, hell, it could be Australia at this point. But I think I think it would be London.
I would imagine London. Maybe a close second would be India.
India's fan, yeah, they have a massive.
Well, not necessarily India. Maybe Saudi Arabia might push enough money for it, but
we're already getting a Royal Rumble in Saudi, so
yeah. AEW Grand Slam Mexico officially a sold out arena Mexico.
Good for AEW.
They picked a arena that they could sell out. Bravo, because they ain't selling out other shit. That's for sure. WWE has not intended for Seth Rollins, Paul Heyman, and Braun Breaker to be compared to any past stable. They also say there are no plans to add any new members as of this time, but we all know that's deflecting because they definitely are.
Okay. If you don't look at that and go, kind of Evolution-esque.
They're deflecting. They're deflecting.
Yeah, I've heard the rumors of the Paul Heyman girl coming in, and maybe it's Becky. I don't know.
Becky right now with kind of her heel turn makes the most sense.
Yeah.
But maybe a month down the road, a returning Bayley.
You got Bayley. You mentioned him earlier. Austin Theory would fit in very well, I think, with that.
Yes, he would. Like a young Randy Orton.
Yeah, you have the Batista and Braun Breaker. You need that young Randy Orton. You got Triple H and Seth Rollins. And you got Ric Flair with Paul Heyman. I mean, Austin Theory does fit that, but he was already and he's already been quote unquote corporate with the Vince McMahon era. So maybe Austin Theory.
Well, you can already see it in the writing on the wall that They're definitely going to push him as a babyface when Grayson and him split up.
Yeah.
Austin Theory is also over as fuck with the fans right now. Have you seen
Yeah.
like his showing up to like events and stuff? The fans go nuts for him.
But with the whole new faction, Braun Breaker is going to come out of this looking like the next big thing that he already is. Even more so.
Braun Breaker probably has the most historic rise in wrestling since the likes of Batista and Randy Orton.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
Multiple talent have expressed interest in working with Rusev in WWE.
Ooh, Braun Breaker versus Rusev would cook.
A lot of things could cook with Rusev.
It's true.
It is said that the Zelina Vega winning the United States Championship was kept under wraps so much that even personnel backstage were shocked by it.
Good for Zelina.
I didn't see it coming. I was legitimately shocked in that match when she won.
Well, neither of us saw it coming because we were both talking about that fact that we're really cooking this Secret Harvest gimmick and Chelsea is on fire, and then
dude, on SmackDown, we'll get into it. On SmackDown this past week, fucking they had Chelsea come out in like a fucking all black, a funeral veil over her head. She was it's just like,
she's going through it, man.
Chelsea's gonna cook. Chelsea's gonna cook with it. She is probably one of the most the word I'm looking for, I guess fire retardant. I don't know. Like she can't get hurt with anything that happens to her.
Okay, yeah, I can see where
I can't look at the word. I can't think of the word I'm looking for, but
okay.
Fireproof? I don't know. Anyways, nonetheless, nothing hurts Chelsea. She's gonna work with anything just fine. The TLC tag team title match got rave reviews backstage, as it should have.
Yeah. Uncle Dave gave it 5 stars.
Yeah, on a SmackDown. That's rare for him to give a 5-star match on a weekly show. Another member of the Paradigm Talent Agency is said to be next in line to move over to Hollywood. That name is Drew McIntyre.
Drew being a big bad villain in a movie makes sense.
I think he's already done that, actually.
Maybe.
Like a smaller bad guy role, but the big bad in a movie? Absolutely, 100%. Yeah. It is said that Roman Reigns is scheduled to return to WWE in early June.
Don't care. Cool.
The dude could work a little bit more. I could.
It's kind of what I was going with there.
It is said that SmackDown will revert to 2 hours in June, probably around the second week. It's figured.
Thank you.
Ooh, Thekla. I don't have any clue who this is. I'm going to look it up later. But a former stablemate of Julia's left Stardom recently and is believed to be headed to the United States. Meltzer said on Observer Radio that WWE has wanted to sign the Austrian wrestler for years and years and years, and speculated Io Sky's current title run might sway her. Fightful then goes on to say that AEW sources of theirs believe that Thekla will be signing with AEW instead.
Ooh,
however,
Sean and Dave going at it. Who's right? She's signing with TNA.
Mexico's Publimetro says there's concern backstage at AAA about a major restructuring and job losses when WWE's acquisition of the Lucha Libre promotion is final. Yeah, it's going to come. They're going to restructure it to. They bought the company. They own it. They're going to do whatever they want with it. Yeah. It was reported this week that the WWE draft will be happening this year. In other news, Survivor Series is also happening this year.
Mm-hmm. I think they're going to do the Royal Rumble again in 2026.
Possibly. They might
probably
go that route.
WrestleMania is in New Orleans next year as well. Just
the thing though with the draft, they figure it'll be more around June just because of the schedule heavy with the 2 PLEs back coming up and the Saturday night's main event as well. So
okay.
WWE has abandoned its trademark filing for Edge on April 22nd after missing a related deadline, but they filed to maintain the trademark on May 1st. So they missed it and it became public domain, but they refiled to maintain it on May 1st. So it's still in WWE. There was probably a moment in Tony Khan's head where he's like, "Holy fuck, we can get Edge."
When that came out, that Edge was available, I saw the people, the AEW marks that were all behind Cope at Copewood, and then all of a sudden they were like, "Oh my goodness, yeah, we can get Edge, we can get Edge." No, I thought you guys were cool with Cope. I thought, what happened?
Nobody's cool with Cope. Okay. It is said that Tama Tonga's injury is worse than anticipated and could end up delaying Tonga Loa's return to WWE as well.
Interesting. I don't know if you've watched any of them. Stephanie's Places. I actually watched the one with all the Samoans and all that. Good episode. Tama was there and Tonga, which was, I forget that they are technically like in there. They get in there eventually. Yeah, it's crazy. That lineage, by the way, will last forever. It's gonna last forever.
Well, I mean, Jay's got like 50 kids, and Jimmy and Naomi probably are.
Jacob Fatu has quite a few kids.
Jacob Fatu definitely has quite a few kids. I think he has something like 7 kids.
And I know Stephanie asked, how many of your kids want to get into it? And Jay was like, "Oh, my son wants to do it for sure." He said he wants to be like Dom and Ray. Jacob says his daughter wants to be involved in it. Then you got to think Roman has a daughter, and then he's had 2 sets of twins, which is insane.
No. The Anoa'i family is going to go on forever.
That Samoan dynasty will never die. Never go away. Also, Sammy was at this meeting too, and it was kind of like just Sammy's there.
Well, too. Sammy's an honorary Oos, man.
Honorary Oos, bro.
Josh Matthews has officially joined AEW in a backstage role.
Okay.
Fine. I mean, he was WWE at one time. Come on. Josh Matthews, you remember?
Yeah, I remember Josh Matthews.
Backstage personality.
Yeah, I remember.
He's had the short spiky hair all the time.
I know, yeah. I know Josh Matthews. He was actually a backstage guy when I was really watching Bully as a kid.
Jeff Cobb's name has been brought up in WWE creative discussions, and his debut appears to be imminent. Looks like he will skip NXT and go right to the main roster.
Yeah, there's a lot of speculation with Jeff Cobb going on right now. You have that, what you just read. You have people, he has retired apparently, according to some, because of a post he made. I don't know.
But Mariah also posted something that's like, AEW is my current. Yeah, your current. But all the AEW fans like, see, she's staying. It's like, no, she's just saying that she's there while her contract's alive.
I read something that intrigued me of Jeff Cobb coming and being in a tag team with Big Bronson Reed.
Ooh, that could be fun.
That would be crazy.
Sean Ross Sapp is at it again. Stating the obvious on the latest round of talent cuts and departures. He said, if Triple H wanted to keep these people, they'd still be there. Yeah, no shit.
No shit. Duh. What do you...
Of course, if Triple H wanted them to be there, they'd be there.
That's
Why
the
were you
funniest shit ever? What slow news day, huh? I mean, a lot of people got released, and you were just like, yeah, if Triple H wanted them, they'd still be there. Yeah, no shit.
You know what else in news? If I decide not to go to work tomorrow, guess what? I'm not going to work tomorrow.
Yeah, you own your business. You can do that. I have to go to work tomorrow.
It's stupid. These guys report anything. Sean Ross Sapp expects that TNA and MLW will try to bring in Jakara Jackson as soon as possible.
I think she's going to AEW, man. I think Jakara will be in AEW.
For whatever it's worth, Sean Ross Sapp also doesn't think Braun Strowman will end up in AEW.
Braun Strowman, though, does strike me as someone that Tony Khan.
Sean Ross Sapp is batting 100 so far because I think he would end up in AEW.
Yeah, I do.
AEW loves their big wrestlers.
Or retiring. I mean that because Braun's had a lot of injuries. He's had a good career, but a lot of injuries for Braun. So if he wants to chill on a boat and ride jet skis and do big tuna fishing, that's what Braun Strowman's going to do.
Sounds like the life, man. In response to WWE staff cuts this week, Jonathan Coachman wrote on social media that TKO has been systematically cutting WWE personnel for the last year, and it's been brutal but not talked about much. They want the company to be a West Coast company. If it comes down to a UFC or WWE person in the same job, it's been the UFC employee that gets the nod. The WWE as we knew it and the family workplace for many is long gone.
There was cuts when it wasn't a part of TKO too. I don't understand why we're all up in arms here.
I think he's more referring to behind the scenes staff, that if there's a WWE personnel and a UFC personnel that have the same job, they're going to release the WWE personnel before the UFC personnel.
That's fair.
I think that's what he was referred to more than anything.
Gotcha.
As for the talent releases, yeah, talent gets released. I mean, you can't, again, carry 200 fucking wrestlers and not do anything with them unless you're a billionaire and own the Jacksonville Jaguars or is the son of one. WWE is apparently saving a tag team match of Roman Reigns and CM Punk versus Seth Rollins and Braun Breaker for either Money in the Bank or SummerSlam.
Okay, yeah, I mean that makes sense. Just the reason I was so like about that is like Punk and Roman teaming together just doesn't do it for me. I don't know why.
It's a weird combination. And last but not least, multiple outlets point out that WWE is no longer advertising Cody Rhodes for any events until the May 16th edition of SmackDown. So it looks like that is when he will return to television.
Okay, so what we got? A couple. I mean, he's chilling, taking time off, spend it with the fam, come back and get back on the horse, Cody. If he comes back with jet black hair, though,
I want it to happen so badly.
That'd be pretty cool. All right, that's all you got. That's the news. That is the news. I do want to add that I was looking at it earlier that New Japan. It has been official. The card is fully set for New Japan's resurgence. They did add the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship for Hiroki Goto is defending against Zack Sabre Jr. That was added, but the card is fully set. Happening this coming Friday. The big match to point out: Mercedes Moné defending the Strong Women's Championship against Mina Shirakawa and Azumi. And then the 8-man tag match. Gabe Kidd, David Finlay, Clark Connors, and Gato taking on the Young Bucks and two mystery partners for the Bucks. Alrighty, so that means we're moving forward to talk about Smacketh Downeth. We're live, which is weird because sometimes you have to go to the bathroom, and this is different. So
I'll just put it on a little break and then come back. How is it any different than when we're recording?
Yeah, when we record and we hit be right back, it's like pause, and then when we come back, it's like quick.
I'll just put it up and take us off the screen and go do your thing.
You're right. We'll do it live. Fuck it, we'll do it live. Yeah.
Don't have to explain what you're doing. We're going to break.
Go to break. We'll be right back to talk about SmackDown. This is the SmackDown post WrestleMania, not the most recent episode. So stay tuned. We'll be right back. All right. Back at it. Different doing it live. You gotta take a bathroom break. You just gotta be right back. We'll get some music or something to play for you. Keep doing it live. Just a little do in the background. With that being said, it's time to dive into SmackDown. This is from 4/25, April 25th, 2025. Hey, RK, we're doing it live. Your mic is muted. Your mic is muted.
You're muted.
No, nope, it was your mic. Anyway,
No, definitely.
what do we got? What do we got?
We are live from the Dickies Arena in Fort Worth, Texas. That is a great name for an arena. For this SmackDown on April 25th. It's the first SmackDown after WrestleMania, and they're going to go big with this show as a triple threat TLC match is scheduled for the WWE Tag Team Championships, with the Street Profits defending against DIY and the Motor City Machine Guns.
Yep, kicking off SmackDown the usual way with a long WrestleMania recap. I think they played the exact same one that they did on Raw as well. So they're like, yeah, we'll just play it again. We got to fill 3 hours here, ladies and gentlemen, so stay with us. John Cena kicks things off in the ring. He does the I have issues with my ring introduction thing. But before you can get anything out, Randy Orton interrupts. And we were watching this, and Randy Orton got a very long entrance here. It took forever for him to get the ring. And once again, you got to fill 3 hours here on SmackDown. So Randy Orton gets it. He talks about how we are coming up on the 25 years to the day since John and Randy shook hands. Cena says he's never changed. That Cena was always about hustle, loyalty, and respect. And it's clear that Cena has a void that needs to be filled. There have been all kinds of generations of children looking up to him, and it has meant something to him. Cena holds the record, by the way, if you didn't know, for the most wishes granted in the history of the Make-A-Wish Foundation, but Orton isn't accepting that they were just numbers. Orton has figured out what Cena needs to fill that void. Imagine a bunch of square-jawed, big four-armed little John Cena's running around. He says that is the void that John Cena needs to fill, to have children, apparently. That children would make him a better man. And then Cena starts to accuse Randy of parent shaming. He takes some shots at the crowd and says, "Oh, look, a 6-year-old gave me the middle finger, classy." I feel like Cena's been having fun with this just heel gimmick. Cena says he's tired of hearing says that the count between Randy and himself is 17-14. When Cena leaves, though, the counter freezes because Orton can win a title, but that puts this count at 1. Wants to raise 3 generations of Cena's family, which is enough for Orton to issue the challenge for a title match right now. But John says, nope, we'll do it in St. Louis. Cena loads up a shot with the belt. Orton ducks, hits the RKO. It's the classic Randy versus Cena. And then we get a video hyping up Fraxium. They are officially on SmackDown. They've dominated NXT, of course, and now they're on the main roster. Find out that Orton and Cena is set for Backlash, and that is how we kick off things on SmackDown.
John Cena has a chance to do the greatest heel thing in the history of wrestling and pull an old Randy Orton move from 2007, I believe, where he intentionally gets himself disqualified in the match so he cannot lose the title.
I think that might happen at some point during this run for John Cena.
But yeah, that leads us into the first match of the night. Fraxium debuting on SmackDown versus Los Garza. They ruined their debut, by the way, by posting on social media that they were at SmackDown.
We talked about that. That was bullshit. That was shitty.
But yeah, Fraxium takes a victory in the debut match with a Super Spanish Fly from Axiom into a Phoenix Splash from Nathan Frazer for the pin at 8 minutes and 24 seconds. This was nearly a flawless victory for Fraxium debuting on SmackDown. Their signature breakneck speed offense was simply too much for Los Garza to keep up with. The main roster tag team division is just a better place with Fraxium in the mix, plain and simple.
Yeah. Dude, they're so good. I don't know how long we're going to have to wait for them to get the titles, but Fraxium versus Street Profits,
Fraxium versus any one of those teams is big time.
Yeah, that match is going to cook. As I said, I did not get notes in, so I'm trying to I guess recover some information here. I know up next was Tiffany Stratton, Jade Cargill promo. Tiffany came out bragging, boasting she is still your champion. She defeated Charlotte Flair. Jade Cargill does come out though to interrupt her and basically calling her shot, saying she's got next in this situation. And I think they go back and forth, and the next thing you know, they're gonna have a match. Uh, because they do the casual, hey, do you guys want to see us do it right here, right now? And we get the match between Jake Cargill and Tiffany Stratton. Non-title match, by the way.
Yeah, and that is the next match. Tiffany Stratton versus Jade Cargill. Match finishes in a DQ when Naomi jumps Cargill at 10 minutes and 14 seconds. Pretty much we all knew at the start of this match that neither of these women were taking a pinfall loss here, so the DQ was the logical way to go. Kind of interesting to have Naomi go after Jade so quickly after WrestleMania, basically where Jade got the definitive win over her. Love the work Naomi is doing right now, but I'm just not into it with Jade being a part of it. Post-match, we get Naomi beating down Jade until Tiffany chases her off, and a returning Nia Jax takes out Tiffany because, we need to run that back again.
That rivalry will never die, apparently. Up next, I'm sorting my notes here, but everything is being difficult. Jacob Fatu, LA Knight, and we'll just start like this. The Bloodlines. Solo attempts to take credit basically here for Jacob Fatu's success, saying he's the reason, he's champion. I brought him in. Nobody else wanted to bring Jacob in. Me, myself, I brought him in. Solo keeps going on, but Jacob takes the microphone from him and tells Solo that he was winning the title, whether Solo was with him or not. LA Knight interrupts this, saying he wants a rematch for his title, but then Drew appears. Says he wants to face the baddest man on the roster, whom he believed is Jacob Fatu. LA Knight and Drew argue before Nick Aldis appears and books Drew versus LA Knight. The winner will get a shot at the WWE United States title. And then we get a Zelina Vega promo hyping up her match for the United States Championship.
And that is our next match on the card for the Women's United States Championship. Chelsea Green defending against Zelina Vega. Excuse me for a sec. And yeah, this match was an interesting outcome, as I did not see it coming, but it happened. Zelina Vega is your new Women's United States Champion after Code Red at 7 minutes and 14 seconds puts away Chelsea. Definitely a huge surprise. When the pin happened, it was like, are we sure about this? I did not think Zelina was going to win. They definitely right out of left field. I would have liked to see Chelsea hold on to it for a while longer. But this gives her something else to complain about now, and I'm sure she'll run with that perfectly.
We'll talk about SmackDown again in a minute. Next.
The match was okay, but what matters is the follow-up from this to make this whole thing seem like a good idea. So we'll see what happens moving forward.
The Miz is shown giving Carmelo Hayes this massive gold chain with Andre the Giant's face, and okay.
No,
it wasn't
no.
It wasn't it. He tells Hayes that he is the company's future, and he's gonna go out and he's gonna cut a promo. But he tells Carmelo, "Stay in the back. You enjoy this moment. I gotta go make my moment." Miz appears in the ring and he complains about not making it to WrestleMania 41, saying, "Hey, no one can lace my boots." The lights go out and we get the return of Aleister Black. Black connects, no words, hits a match. Black Mass is, by the way, one of my favorite finishers. Just the way he delivers it, it's clean. We watched, I think it was Aleister versus Johnny from an NXT takeover where he hit the Black Mass once, and Johnny fell into him on his chest, and he was like, "I absolve you of your sins," or whatever, and just hit it again. It was great. He hits Miz with the Black Mass, and he stands tall. Nia is backstage confronting Naomi. tell her to stay out of her business for the WWE Women's Title. Naomi responds by telling Nia to proceed with caution. I love everything about Naomi, what she's doing right now.
Except for the Jade Cargill feud, because I don't care.
Fair.
I really don't. Jade's still not it. I don't see what the hype is, but whatever. Fourth match of the night: LA Knight versus Drew McIntyre. This is for a future United States title shot. And shocking, this match finishes in a DQ when Damian Priest comes out and goes after Drew McIntyre at 9 minutes and 24 seconds. Yeah, this match was decent, and Knight was hanging in there with Drew. Big thing is Drew should technically be the number one contender now after the DQ win, but I'm sure Nick Aldis will pull the good old "that's not what I meant" here, which probably would lead to some sort of triple threat match. As we find out,
four-way. Who knows?
Not a horrible way to go. Keeping Knight relevant is important though, because he definitely belongs with the big names. Post-match, the brawl is on with Priest putting Drew through the announcers table with the choke slam. Priest and Knight are arguing when Jacob Fatu is out with a huge suicide dive to take them both out. Fatu hits his moonsaults to leave everyone laying as he stands tall, looking like the monster that he is.
I want to give Jacob Fatu credit for that suicide dive. He's just wearing like a Raiders jersey, and like he's got the thing. He's an animal. He's insane. We get a recap of Braun Breaker joining up with Rey Mysterio. Whoa.
Rey Mysterio, John Cena?
Cut that.
Rey Mysterio.
Cut that. Just cut that.
Seth, maybe?
Braun Breaker. Yeah, there it is.
Possibly
Seth. And Paul Heyman. Yeah, Braun joined up with Seth and Paul Heyman. We also get R-Truth confronting John Cena backstage, but he's congratulating him on his win. Cena he walks away from him. Jimmy Uso confronts R-Truth, and then Truth's not having it. He tells Jimmy that Cena is the real world champion. That is R-Truth's childhood hero. The question I asked earlier about who would you die for? Die on a hill. What wrestler? R-Truth's choosing John Cena. He will die for John Cena.
Well, R-Truth is like beautiful. 59, and he said when he grows up, he hopes to be as good as John Cena.
And I believe him.
Yeah. Fifth match tonight, main event, WWE Tag Team Championship TLC match. The Street Profits defending against Motor City Machine Guns and DIY. And yeah, the Street Profits retain at 22 minutes and 52 seconds after Montez Ford grabs the title from above the ring. Plain and simple here, this match, everybody won. The fans, all the wrestlers, WWE, TKO, The Rock, all of them, they all won. Everybody won. We had 6 guys beating the ever-living shit out of each other and just trying to go for the most insane spots possible. The ending was creative with Ford climbing the inside of the ladder to cut off Chris Sabin and Johnny Gargano from grabbing the titles. The prosthetic fucking leg shot. I mean, if this was at WrestleMania, if this was at WrestleMania, that guy wouldn't have been there. We wouldn't have got that spot.
It's true. So shout out to Vinny, our buddy Vinny. We play video games with. He has a prosthetic leg, and I texted him. I said, "Dude, did you see what happened on SmackDown?" And he was over the moon. He's like, "That was awesome. That was the shit." I was like, "All right, cool."
We were both like, "Is that Vinny?"
Yeah. Oh shit. And then I was like, "Oh, they're not Detroit. They're real good."
But yeah, everyone's saying that this match should have been on WrestleMania. Should really think about this. If it was, probably overshadowed by all the other things that happened on WrestleMania.
Fair.
And I highly doubt they would have got 23 minutes on WrestleMania as well. They probably got something like 12 or 13 minutes.
Yeah, this was a 3-hour SmackDown that didn't feel like a 3-hour SmackDown, actually, because of the length that this match got and the promo between Cena and Randy. And it just felt like they filled 3 hours pretty well. Still happy they're going back to 2 hours. But this match...
they got to stand out. All of them got all their big spots in. The crazy suicide dives, the flips, Montez Ford, the spear from Dawkins, everything. Everything works so well in this match, and they delivered. And you know what? Even Uncle Dave had to give it 5 stars.
So it's good. This SmackDown, man, absolutely cooked. That triple threat TLC match, bonkers. It really ended a good SmackDown, to be honest. It really put the cap on a really good SmackDown. And Steen and Randy, this is like 2009 again for me watching pro wrestling. So building that feud up, that's been there. It's like, this is going to be a kind of weird comparison. Don't take this like, oh, whatever. But Randy and John have been connected since they showed up in WWE. It reminds me of the females of Stephanie Vaquer and Julia. This is a similar thing we're going to have. Years from now, we're going to be having something like, holy shit, we're about to watch Julia versus Stephanie Vaquer for the final time. Because one of them's done, or they're both done. Who knows? And it's cool. It's cool, man.
Yeah, solid.
And Aleister Black. Aleister Black's back. That's my last comment.
Malachi is better. Solid SmackDown after WrestleMania. Main event alone would have carried the entire show if the rest of the show sucked, but it didn't need to. Cena and Orton at Backlash being set up was great, and Cena has a chance, like I said, to pull off the biggest heel move and recreate that good old Randy Orton spot.
Did Randy do that to John?
Randy did that to John.
Oh yeah, that shit has to happen at Backlash. It has to.
It has to. It'd be the greatest heel moment ever. You know, they're 28 minutes into their match, and John's just like fuck it and punches the ref.
He's not a heel for that. That's just called payback, baby. That's all that is. That's the real champion.
Yeah, it'll be hard for SmackDown to keep this pace moving forward, but great start to the new season here.
All right, so that is SmackDown from 2 weeks ago. We are back on our normal schedule here with TNA Rebellion. This is from this a week ago. We would have talked about it if we would have done an episode. We pushed this because if we did an episode last Sunday, it would have been us talking about a little bit of news in SmackDown and TNA. So we'll do it all together. So TNA Rebellion from LA.
Yeah, the Gallon Center in Los Angeles, California. TNA Rebellion on a Sunday evening to keep us in our constant wrestling mode all the time. Yes. We have a pretty stacked card, hence why you and I tuned into it. Yes. So let's not waste any time getting into this. The stack card is what got us wanting to watch it.
Yeah, I know you're going to run down a little bit of the kickoff show. It was hosted, by the way, the kickoff show by Tommy Dreamer, Gia Miller, Dave LaGreca, and shout out to O'Shea Jackson Jr. He was there hosting as well. So it was pretty cool to see that.
Yeah, and on the kickoff show we had Fatal Influence versus Rosemary, Xia Brookside, and Lei Yin Lee. Fatal Influence takes the win at 9 minutes and 2 seconds. Also on the kickoff show, we had Elijah versus a mystery opponent. It was an open challenge, and Elijah, does his usual sing a little song about the greatness of Los Angeles. And his opponent comes out, and it is Shane Haste from TMDK of New Japan. Which is wrestler. Very interesting when you think about it.
Yeah.
Because the connection with WWE and New Japan's connection with AEW and...
Yeah, we didn't watch the kickoff show, but I remember when we did link up to start watching it, and I was like, just a heads up, here's what happened on the kickoff show. A New Japan wrestler showed up and answered an open challenge. So it was like we're talking right now. Like, okay. All right.
It's interesting. Anyways, Elijah does take the win at 6 minutes and 1 second. And that was the kickoff show. That was the kickoff show.
Yeah. Quick kickoff show. And obviously, like all kickoff shows, hey, here's what's coming on the show tonight, and you look forward to it. We kick things off with the, of course, national anthem singing, and then an opening video just showing Los Angeles being the city of dreams, such as, focusing on those wrestlers who are going to be in the ring tonight. And with any PLE pay-per-view, not really much story here. It's the matches. So take it away, man. Let's get it.
First match tonight is the X Division title match in a classic X Division showdown. Matt Cardona versus KC Navarro versus Sidney Akeem versus Leon Slater versus El Hijo del Vikingo versus the defending champion Moose. Moose retains after Slater gets the belt down, but Moose spears him before he can be on the mat and control the title at 15 minutes and 24 seconds. The big thing here being the whole what are you shaking your head at?
I didn't like it. Didn't like the finish.
Well, the whole point here was Moose being scared of heights and he can't climb. So somebody else had to get the belt down and then he just took it.
Yeah, but he got the belt and he landed on the mat.
Wasn't in control of the title though.
It's so crazy. It's just, I think with them doing it this way though, is going to be a good.
I feel like you have these same arguments for your Indianapolis Colts. He was down with the ball, and he didn't have control of it.
We had a better record than your shitty Jacksonville Jaguars.
I don't really even like football, so
you just chose a team.
How's your Chicago Blackhawks?
Huh?
Exactly.
The same as your Vancouver Canucks, sitting at home, not in the playoffs.
I'm not cheering for the Vancouver Canucks. I'm cheering for the Washington Capitals.
I think everybody should be cheering for the Capitals. Let Ovi go out on top. You think he's retiring?
Who, Ovi? Yeah, he'll go back to KHL. Play a couple seasons there. He's already said he wants to do that. Anyways, this was the usual insanity that these matches tend to be, and that's not a bad thing. Moose finding a way to steal the title is a good way to go. And ending makes me wonder if Slater is going to win the title sooner than later. Perhaps maybe Slammiversary. Leon Slater has been built up for a few months now, and seeing him get the title on the big stage would be nice to see. He was also the one that almost died. So,
yeah, the 450 swanton off the top of one of the trusses. Nobody caught him. He hit the ground.
AJ Francis attempted.
Yeah, he put an arm out.
That was still a wild spot.
Yeah,
wild spot.
I think with the finish and how it went with Moose getting it the last second there is a building block to when he does overcome and win the title. It'll be a bigger moment.
He's that close. That close to winning.
That close. We get a look at Joe Hendry, by the way, who was at WrestleMania. See some reactions from fans with that. And we see that he was on NXT when he stared down Oba Femi, the NXT champion, as well.
Yeah, and that leads us into our next match of the night, the Knockouts Tag Team titles. Ash by Elegance, and Heather by Elegance versus Metaphor versus Gigi Dolan and Tatum Paxley versus Spitfire. It's crazy that two wrestlers in this match are no longer with WWE. Ash and Heather by Elegance retains the titles when they hit rarefied air on Jody Threat to retain the titles at 9 minutes and 23 seconds. All the action was fun, but I mean, there was a lot going on in this match because it just broke down eventually, and it was really chaotic to kind of keep track of what was going on. But I mean, it worked. It was entertaining at the very least. But nothing really got a chance to develop, and it was just a bunch of people flying around in near falls. I mean, like I said, not a horrible way to go with the match. It does take away a certain je ne sais quoi from the match sometimes. Obviously, by Elegance retaining here, it's fine as they need to hold the titles for longer. And honestly, who can really come after them?
Well, the two NXT representative teams are no longer a thing. Spitfire have been the champions a couple times.
Tatum Pax is literally all alone now.
Yeah, man. She's got to go get Lyra. She's got to go to the main roster and handle Lyra, I guess. And this match didn't help the fact that they had to follow a Ultimate X match. That just was tough on their part. So we also get Elijah, who is he's ready. He's ready to see Joe Hendry tonight retain that world title. Elijah is a good guy. Is different because I remember him in WWE and he was annoyingly a bad guy for a little bit. But he was over. So all he had to do was come out and strum that guitar.
Yeah. I wasn't watching wrestling during that period of time, so I only saw the tail end. I only saw the tail end of Elias.
The WWE stands for
Walk
with Elias.
Yeah. Next match tonight is Ace Austin and the Rascals versus The System. Moose is pulling double duty tonight. Yeah. Wentz gets the pinfall win when Moose's spear is countered into an X Factor and a UFO cutter at 11:04. Not really sure why Sean Waltman was there and we had a DX tribute match, but here we are. It was a lot of fun. And Austin works extremely well with the Rascals, so it worked out
Hey,
very well. It was just
He took
interesting.
out Alicia Edwards, which threw me off. He fucking
It
nailed
was-
Alicia Edwards.
It was wild. Like, the crazy part is Waltman still looks perfectly fine. Like he could go, like he could just
Yeah.
be in, he can make a run again. He looks
No.
like ready to go.
The movie, he had moves. He looked clean. He was limber. He doing DDP yoga. I guarantee it.
Wentz pinning Moose is an interesting twist, as you now have a few people lining up to have a realistic title aspirations here.
Yeah, Wentz, former X Division champion as well. I like Zachary Wentz. I think he's got a good future, but yeah, we'll see what happens. Steve Macklin is shown before his match with Eric Young coming up with the international title.
GG ends up in TNA now.
Yeah, Zachary Wentz actually was posting on X saying, "Book us as a tag team. We'll handle business together." Steve Macklin will not say a single word about Eric Young, but he smirks as he goes to make his entrance.
Yeah, and that leads us into the international title. Steve Macklin defending against Eric Young. Macklin does retain here when he reverses Eric Young's pile driver into a roll-up pin at 9 minutes and 23 seconds. This match went by really fast, and it's really hard to get into Eric Young. I think both of us were just kind of like meh with this match. I think it's because they're trying to pin Young as this evil mastermind again, but I'm not really seeing how that works. But yeah, they keep trying it. It never works. They're trying it again. It hasn't worked. It won't work. I don't know. I don't get it. Macklin retaining is good to see, and now he needs to move on to something else. TNA has a strong enough roster, so let Macklin fight anyone.
Yeah,
except for Eric Young again.
Yeah, that was just finishing up, I thought, the Eric Young debacle. But post-match, the Northern Armory run in and they beat Macklin down and they choke him out with a chain. So yeah, this feud is not done yet. We get a recap of the build for Mike Santana versus Mustafa Ali. Santana is trying to get to the world title, but Ali keeps bringing up Santana's past addiction issues. On the other hand, Santana accuses Ali of being addicted to trying to ruin Santana's life. Therefore, it's time for a Falls Count Anywhere match. As Ali has kept running from the fights. And so, yeah, we're going to do Falls Count Anywhere. And you're going to get into the match. And I just want to say, spoiler warning, this may be match of the night. Not maybe.
And also, spoiler warning, this is the second time we've watched a Mike Santana match where at the beginning you were like, I don't know if this match is going to be good or not.
And he cooks. He's my favorite TNA wrestler.
Yeah, Santana wins after he hits spin the block. This was right after Ali just busts him open with a baseball bat, but he just rises right up and hits it. This came at 19 minutes and 23 seconds. This was overcome all the odds to win that Santana is needed, and he looked like an absolute hero at the end of it. He's been needing this for the last few months, and honestly, with this win, it wouldn't be a surprise to see Santana getting into the world title picture. It's absolutely fantastic. Kills his matches. They had the violence going here, and Santana outsmarted and flat out beat 4 people at once. Yeah. It's quite an impressive move, and Santana looked fantastic. And shout out to Mustafa Ali. I did not know he took some bumps, man. He took some bumps in this match.
That was such a good match to watch. I'd watch that match again, for sure.
I saw Mustafa Ali broke his neck at one point.
Yeah, no, that match cooked. Mike Santana, I think, will be TNA World Champion. I think he could be one to beat Joe Hendry.
He's good.
So we'll see what happens. We get a look here on Rebellion of the newest TNA signing, and it is WWE's former employee. Sorry, it's Indy Hartwell. Indy Hartwell is now on TNA. She is signed. She's the newest knockout in TNA, and it just fits. Indy fits in TNA, I think, and I think she'll do great. We do get a recap of Tessa Blanchard versus Masha Slamovich for the Knockouts title. Slamovich is this new star in the division, but Tessa is a legend of the division. She has returned, and she does want to get a title back. Some would call it a dream match for the division. Some would say it could steal the show. I don't think it stole the show. I think the match we just talked about was
it could have stole the show if it didn't have to follow this the match right before it.
Yeah, I felt bad for these two. They had to follow. Great matches.
This was one of the matches that was touted as part of the triple main event, but the match right before should have been the main event.
maybe. Yeah, that match cooked.
But yeah, next title match is Knockouts title, women's title match. Tessa Blanchard versus Masha Slamovich. Slamovich does retain with the. When she hit the is that one of her moves? I don't know. I was so confused when I saw her hit the disarmer. I was like, "What's going on here?"
Yeah.
But yeah, she hits the disarmer after the running knee on Tessa gets her the submission win at 14:04. They did kill it. They absolutely killed it. But it was probably overshadowed from the match right before it. They show up for a big time fight and they did deliver, but it could have been so much more. It just kind of ended. Like, it was a weird ending. It did literally just feel like, we even said, "Oh, she did the Gunther tap," just tapped out right away. It just seemed like it just flat end. A lot of leg work in this match, but it really went with an arm submission in the end. So what was the point? That being said, Slamovich getting the big win and a clean win at that over Blanchard is quite the crowning moment for her. Blanchard's going to get that title back sooner than later, but this feels like it's going to humble her a little bit. Probably knock her down a few pegs.
Yeah, I mean, you can say what you want about Tessa and the history and all the controversy that follows her, but she is really, really good in the ring. She's a really good pro wrestler. She's a great heel. And I guess with the controversy that surrounds her, she kind of does play off it, I think, a little bit. She's like, "Fuck it, I'll be the bad guy," and she's great in the ring. So yeah, she was the TNA World Champion at one point. I mean, they put the big title on her, which still blows my mind. They were in a bad spot. It was Impact then, and anyway, we get a recap of the Hardys defending the tag team titles against the Nemeth. Nick Nemeth had turned on them recently, and naturally, of course, his little brother Ryan went along with it. The fight is over who is the better, I guess, team of brothers here. They show the shenanigans that took place at the Hardy compound. Willow made an appearance, aka Jeff Hardy, but Willow, different people. The Nemeth, they stole those title belts as well, so when they show up, they have them with them. But they are not the champions. The Hardys are the TNA World Tag Team Champions, but the Nemeth have the titles when they show up for their match.
And that leads us into this match: Ryan and Nick Nemeth versus the Hardy Boys for the TNA Tag Team Championships. A low blow in a danger zone from Nick, and then Ryan tags himself in, and he gets the pinfall win and the titles at 11 minutes and 52 seconds.
Ryan Nemeth
Nick did all.
Jeff Hardy.
Yeah, Ryan Nemeth pinned Jeff Hardy.
Yep.
Yeah, that happened. Nick did all the work though, but Ryan. Yeah. The Hardys, honestly, they didn't need to be champions for very much longer. They're just there, passing on probably their knowledge to the younger wrestlers. If anything, they're not. They
ain't passing nothing on to the Nemeth. That's not young.
Oh, that's for damn sure. But you know what I mean. They're not there for more accolades in their life. I think they're pretty much set.
They
in that
show
area.
up in WWE again soonish, maybe. I would think.
I would think so.
Just as a
one last
at the end.
Yeah, just a little goodbye. Maybe one last WrestleMania match. Maybe. They're going to get some mileage out of Ryan pinning Jeff though. The TNA has something that they can absolutely run with here for a while. It's so good. It writes itself. It's so good. The promo about winning the titles with his big brother will be worth a look as well. And it gets the Hardys away from the titles for a bit. The match itself was fine, but not exactly a classic. Again, the Santana match should have been mixed in this triple main event somewhere. They probably could have swapped these two matches. Would have been the most logical choice. But nonetheless, like I said, we got new champions, and they're going to be able to run with it for a while. They're going to have some fun with it, I think.
Yeah, we'll see. Fucking Ryan Nemeth, man. Anyway, Santino Marella comes out with Shea Jackson Jr., Dave LaGreca, GM Miller, Tommy Dreamer. They're all back out here at the pre-show panel to kind of just preview the match and make their picks. Everybody picked Joe Hendry except for O'Shea Jackson. He picked Ethan Page. We get a leading, promo for this match. Joe Hendry, of course, defending. Ethan Page wants it, and Frankie Kazarian is cashing in his Feast or Fired title shot.
Yep, and that leads us into our main event of the triple main event. TNA AEW did this once, and I said you can't have 3 main events, but apparently TNA thinks it's a great idea too. Don't do that again. TNA World Title: Joe Hendry, Ethan Page, Frankie Kazarian triple threat match. Hendry does retain after a fallaway slam and a standing ovation for the pinfall win at 13 minutes and 40 seconds. The Mustafa Ali and Mike Santana match got more time than all 3 of the.
I literally just scrolled up to see the times on those.
So yeah, again, this was actually just unreal that that match somehow was not in the main event picture. But obviously, you're gonna have your TNA World Title as your main event. It just makes sense. But yeah, Hendry does retain. Not the most thrilling match in the world. Pretty much felt like every other generic triple threat match that's ever happened in the history of wrestling. Nothing stood out. Nothing made it seem different. Hendry fighting through the shoulder injury and hanging on to retain the title is probably the best way to go with this. Shows him that he's a fighting champion. Having him beat Kazarian while he was cashing in and Ethan Page from WWE. I don't know if that just, it doesn't feel like it belonged on the pay-per-view. I don't know. It just wasn't a great match. But hey, Joe Hendry's still the champion.
Yeah, well, post-match, Trick Williams showed up. He takes Joe out. Joe, if you don't know, previously on NXT, just, I guess the best way to put it is cooked and embarrassed Trick Williams on the mic. Not hard to do. He hits him with the trick shot to end the show, and there you go. That's how we go off air from Rebellion. This was, I think the biggest takeaway from this was Mike Santana is my favorite TNA wrestler, and I think he will be a world champion. And I loved that match. The Ultimate X Division matches, those always are just entertaining matches. But other than that, man, I mean, it was okay. It was an okay pay-per-view, highlighted by 2 great matches. One that stands out above all, of course, for me will be Mike Santana and Mustafa Ali. I think they stole the show.
Yeah, the show was good enough. It didn't live up to the hype of the card per se. Outside of the Mike Santana match, which going into it, is that your must-see match of the night? No. After the match happened, is that your must-see match of the night? Yes. Yeah. Tessa and Masha, they went good. That was a half decent match. The rest were just, I felt like it could be on any weekly episodic show. Not really sure why it didn't live up to the hype of the card. The card looked stacked, and it was stacked. It just, the matches just didn't hit. They were okay.
Yeah, I think that's the best way to put it. Is they were okay. I'm just getting my notes pulled up here for this next one. We're going to move forward to talk about Monday Night Raw from April 28th, 2025.
And we are live from the T-Mobile Center in Kansas City, Missouri this week. We're in kind of in the weird area of the show now because post WrestleMania has happened. Now you got to start setting up stuff for the year. But it's a slow build. You can't just run right in. It's a weird area for the show to be in. And basically because you only have one match scheduled for Backlash, which is 2 weeks away so far.
Yeah. Cena and Randy. So yeah, we're kicking things off. It's noted that Nick Aldis, by the way, is in charge of things tonight. Adam Pearce is gone. I think he's just taking a little vacation. But I don't know about you, man. WWE, there's no such thing as vacations. Just saying. WrestleMania isn't the end. We don't get a break here, Adam Pearce. So I don't know what he's doing. But he just went down the list of my favorite GMs. Commentary talking about, of course, Gunther's attack on Pat last week, that Gunther has been fined and he has been suspended indefinitely, and Pat will comment on that situation later. We get a look back, of course, of everything that happened last week on Raw, the joining of Seth Rollins, Paul Heyman, Braun Breaker, and we kick things off in ring with those three individuals. I want to point out that they're being cheered. There is no booze for this group. The fans are actually treating them as if they're the good guys. Seth reiterating to the fans that he won the main event of WrestleMania, and that the future of this industry now runs through him. Sami Zayn comes out to interrupt, saying that Seth is full of shit. Seth continues to call the group the vision for the future. Zayn says he's a hypocrite and now realizes that Seth just wanted what Punk and Roman had with Paul Heyman. Rollins says that if Sami can't get on the same page as this new group, he should just go to SmackDown. And he kind of just puts Sami on the spot and says, make a choice. You can stay here and you can fight with us and you'll be on our way and we'll take care of you, or you can go to SmackDown and you have till the end of the night to give us an answer. We look back at what happened last week between Io Sky and Stephanie Vauquer, with Roxanne Perez and Julia running in to beat them down, and Rhea Ripley making the save from last week's episode of Raw.
And that sets up the first match of the night, Rhea Ripley versus Roxanne Perez. And we have the good old-fashioned DQ finish after Julia interrupts the Riptide after a failed pop rocks from Perez at 11 minutes and 48 seconds. This was a good showcase for Perez, as WWE seems rather interested in showing what the NXT woman can do on the main roster. That's a good idea, as the women from NXT, they're just more than capable of hanging on the main roster. All of them, almost all of them are, I would say. Any one of them, call them up, they probably hang. Again, it's kind of been reported that Roxanne and Julia have been called up to the main roster. They were given their patches that they wore in their debut matches. So that kind of says that they're up there, but nothing is seen. Roxanne definitely is definitely probably up there now. Julia's an interesting one because she's still doing stuff down with Stephanie, but we'll see where it's at. Yeah. Obviously, you can't have Roxanne losing here. You can't have Rhea losing here. DQ finish is the way to go. We get a lot of those as they try to set up stuff. Post-match, the beatdown is on, but Io Sky runs in for the save, and I'm sure we're going to get some sort of tag team match of some sort happening probably sooner than later.
Not on this next episode of Raw, but eventually, I think. Maybe they throw that on Backlash? No, Io would have to defend the title. Maybe. I don't know. We'll see what happens. There was a Judgment Day segment that happened. As I said, my notes don't have them. Do you recall what happened in that segment? I think it was just them celebrating and then hyping up that there's big news coming for Liv, if I'm not mistaken. We'll get into that news with Liv later on. Logan Paul, he's going to come to the ring here. He's going to make a statement. He says that he wants to challenge Jey Uso for that world title. Jey comes out. Logan says he's going to make sure that he loses his title faster than he lost the Intercontinental title. Jey says that after what he saw Gunther do to Jimmy, there is a fire in him that will never be put out. And he just super kicks the shit out of Logan here. And that is how we...
Poorly. He hit him in the arm.
So Logan versus Jey coming soon, I assume.
Yo, if y'all can't hit a super kick, go watch Shawn Michaels. That man never missed. Next match of the night is the War Raiders versus Judgment Day. New Day is on commentary, and they do not like all of the attention being paid to McDonough when Wood's recovery from injury didn't get nearly as much praise. That being said, the War Machine finishes McDonough at 10 minutes and 35 seconds. Odds are the War Raiders are getting a title shot out of this to rematch, unless somehow with the New Day. Well, I don't care. The Raw tag team division is stale. They need to figure something out there.
Yeah, it's meh. What do we got? Paul Heyman is sitting down with Sami Zayn, telling him that we have arranged for you, if you do go to SmackDown at the end of the night, you will get a immediate WWE Championship match with the winner against the winner of the John Cena Randy Orton match at Backlash. Otherwise, You got to face Braun Breaker tonight. I'll put you in this scenario. What are you choosing?
Not Braun Breaker.
Exactly. You're not choosing Braun Breaker. We see Otis backstage. I don't, like I said, my notes. Sorry, rough week. Computer dying. But anyway, let's move forward. Let's talk about Becky Lynch. Becky comes out and reveals that she says, "Hey, there's no detective story here. I attacked Bayley at WrestleMania." Got it. She says that she's been getting attacked by Bayley since 2019, and she was going to show Bayley what a bigger star looked like at WrestleMania. As for turning on Lyra, she said, "The friend of my enemy is my enemy." She mentioned being disappointed by Lyra, and then Lyra shows up. Valkyria says that everyone tried to warn her about Becky Lynch. I wonder if they were in the back like, "Hey, Becky Hogan, she gets selfish, man. She's gonna win the title." She didn't believe it because she was wrapped in the fairy tale of becoming the Irish Women's Tag Team Champions. She tried to fight Becky, but Becky backs out of the ring. Lyra immediately said she would put the Intercontinental Championship on the line at Backlash. Becky agrees to this. Lyra said she's no longer interested in being the next Becky Lynch. She's interested in being a better person than Becky Lynch. They fight for a minute, but Lyra... Yeah,
go ahead.
But Lyra stands tall before Becky attacks her from behind on the ramp.
This is interesting for Becky, but nonetheless, the big takeaway here is Lyra Valkyria, for the first time since winning that title, was good. Showed some fire.
Yep.
Like I bought it that she was the champion.
Sometimes you need a good adversary, and Becky is Becky, so it works. Nick Aldis is shown talking to Penta backstage and says he wouldn't fight him, but he will give him a match with JD McDonough next week. So that is made official, and that is happening on Monday Night Raw. I'm looking forward to that. Hopefully, there's probably going to be shenanigans, but those two should cook for at least a minute, and they're so good. Penta then gets confronted by Chad Gable, who's laughing and bragging that El Grande Americano beat his brother Rey Fenix at WrestleMania. So Penta gives him a nice swift kick to the chest. We get
talk about the Lucha Brothers. First time Penta said the Lucha Brothers on TV.
He did say the Lucha Bros. We get a Rusev vignette. Explains that he fell into the abyss on the way back to Bulgaria.
This was so good.
WWE, and he's healed himself. And now he plans to heal the rest of the roster who waste their talents as he once did when he took his career for granted. Rusev is just going to be, I guess, booked here as a stone cold badass killer. What was the term he was using? Retribution? I don't know. He's going to destroy. All right. He can't be the destroyer. That's Obafemi. But Rusev is here.
Ooh,
he's got Otis
and Rusev.
Woo! Well, we got Rusev versus Otis next week.
That's going to be a mini squash. Next match of the night is Stephanie Vaquera versus Ivy Nile. Stephanie Vaquera takes the win at 9 minutes and 32 seconds after a dragon screw off the corner ropes into a Stephanie Vaquera bomb. They're in a really weird space with Vaquera right now. You know, she's already feeling like one of the best stars in the division, but she's only been the NXT Women's Champion for a month. The problem is she's a bigger star than pretty much anyone else on the NXT's division right now. So I'm not sure how long she's going to be there. Like I was saying earlier, they got to capitalize on her momentum while they can. If you wait too long, it could fizzle out. The fans could, turn. Wrestling fans are fickle. We suck at times. But she's more than ready for the main roster, and I really hope they don't waste that chance with her.
Agreed. Hello in the chat to Logan James. Thank you for stopping by. Hope you're enjoying this long-winded episode of the show. How you doing? Don't know what time zone you're in, but it's getting late, so hopefully you're wide and awake there, buddy. So
that's still relatively early here. So
it's 1:30 in the morning here in Indianapolis, Indiana. Not there in Canada land.
What does Canada land have to do with it? Canada, like you got me saying now. Canada land. I'm just West Coast. You guys got a West Coast of the States,
I don't even know if that was English.
California, Washington.
Nick Aldis is show talking to AJ Styles about what AJ's going to do next. Before he gets interrupted by Liv Morgan, Raquel Rodriguez, and Dominic Mysterio. This is where we find out Liv is going to have time off because she will be filming a Hollywood movie, which we talked about earlier in the show in the news. Nick Aldis approves it and wishes her luck. Dominic also asks for time off, but this is denied.
That's denied.
Aldis reminds him that champions are expected to work more. Dom takes some shots at AJ Styles about maybe he's going to retire, and takes some shots, of course, at Rey Mysterio. AJ fires back with the third zone, and Judgment Day leaves. Styles hints at knowing what he wants to do next, and Aldis says, "Yeah, I got you, bro. I know what we're doing." Karrion Kross sees Sami Zayn, and he mentioned that he had a big decision to make, and hope you make the right one, Sami. Pat McAfee cuts a promo here on Monday Night Raw, talking about he wants to be.
Karrion Kross does so much with so little. It's amazing.
He's involved in everything when you really break it down. Pat McAfee talks about he wants to remember when he dies, and he said he's ride or die for Michael Cole. He tells Nick Aldis to come on out here. Very passionate promo from Pat here, who says he wants to face Gunther at Backlash.
That just seems like a bad choice.
We're getting Pat McAfee versus Gunther at Backlash. That's happening. Jey Uso comforting Sami Zayn backstage. At the end of this segment, he does get hit, though, from behind by Logan Paul with a titanium punch, which knocks him out cold, and Paul calls it karma. We also, in all of this break here before the next match, we got a SummerSlam 2007 video from John Cena versus Randy Orton. I think that was the first time they went head-to-head for the title against each other. Jackie Redmond interviewing Io Sky, explained that she saved Rhea Ripley because Ripley saved her last week. Ripley came up, said she didn't want her help, but said they're even now. And then it is known that Io will be on NXT next night. Alrighty, this is the final pro before we close things out. Seth Rollins comes to the ring. We're waiting Sami Zayn's decision. They spoke about how close they are outside of the ring. Talked about how they're kids. They play together. Seth says he would never forget the advice given to him by Zayn about fatherhood. Sami, through tears, said that everything Rollins says about their relationship outside of the ring is true, but inside the ring, Seth is just playing games. Zayn defiantly states that he one day will be world champion. WWE will be WWE world champion, but it would not be because of any favors. He tells Seth to go to hell, and here comes. And by the way, the moment when he tells him to go to hell, Seth's face is, all right, you asked for this. And then the music starts playing for Braun. The dogs start barking. And through the smoke, you see Braun Breaker, Paul Heyman right behind him. What a visual. And, Sami's, here we go. Sami Zayn, Braun Breaker. Good luck, Sami.
Yeah, and we got a match. Match goes a decent amount of time, 12 minutes and 32 seconds. A lot of that was just, by the end of it, was Seth Rollins commanding Braun Breaker what to do to Sami Zayn. Basically, 3 super spears from Breaker is what finally finishes Zayn. I mean, if you want someone to take a heck of a beating and get all the sympathy in the world while making the new villain look like a monster, Sami Zayn is the guy you call. He's been doing this his whole career, so he's definitely the man you want doing that. Yeah. Toss up. Who's the bigger bad giant monster on the roster? Jacob Fatu or Braun Breaker?
I don't know. Let's put them in the ring together and watch them fight.
Oof. Braun Breaker all the way. Let's go. Yeah, Braun Breaker just looks like an absolute killer here. He's definitely the enforcer of the group. He's going to protect Seth and Paul all the way to the bitter end. This is exactly what it needs to be for Breaker. He just needs to go out there and destroy. You can't have him looking weak at any point right now. You need to set him up as dominant. Post-match, the fans are wild. They want one more spear to Sami Zayn. But
all right.
They had to settle for a stomp from Rollins instead. They were a little disappointed. The Seth Rollins group is going to start tearing through that roster, I think.
Yeah, looking forward to what happens on Monday Night Raw. We'll see how that goes. This Raw was good. It was just kind of we're trying to get stuff situated and ready for Backlash, which, as you said, is literally right around the corner now. Braun
Next
Breaker
weekend.
is next weekend. Braun Breaker is a badass, and yeah, the murder he murdered Sammy here. But I want to say Sammy's promo, he's gonna be a world champion, isn't he? I think that's gonna happen. I don't know when, but I think we will get it because there is so much baggage on Sami Zayn of his failures of trying to be a champion that they will make a freaking masterclass of a story of Sammy finally getting to the mountaintop. Better
Do
than Jay's rise, better than I think it happens. I think he will. Um, who he beats, it may not even be this year, but I do think Sami Zayn will eventually be a champion, world champion. Unless he goes bad and he turns on his boy Jay. That's the only thing I think of, but I don't know about that.
they're gonna capitalize soon. He's 41, so
Sammy will be a world champion. I do think so.
time frame.
Within the next 3 years.
I would have given it next 2 years. I think you got to capitalize on it.
That's fair.
Yeah, no, a lot of this show focused on the woman, and not really a bad way to go, especially with how strong the women's division is, and you got all this talent from NXT showing up, which definitely has the best women's division in wrestling. The two women's matches and the Valkyria Lynch segment worked really well. But the other big thing was just that much better. They're just Seth Rollins, Braun Breaker, Sami Zayn, just interweaved throughout the entire show. Paul Heyman saying, "Hey man, just go to SmackDown, dude." Seth going,
The
"Hey
world
man,
title shot.
just go to SmackDown, man." He didn't do it. Sami Zayn is a man of the people. Anyways, the Zayn story was very good. He's dead, by the way. If he has to go up against Breaker at any that whole group again, he's done. Maybe Zayn joins them. Who knows?
And then that's how he gets the title off of Jay. Oh my gosh. Not a chance. But
that whole story was very good. A lot of options moving forward with it. They can keep running with it. They can write Sammy off, have him come back. Who knows? A lot of stuff they can do up. The show overall, good. The hype for future shows, amazing.
yeah, I'll give you that. That's fair. To one of the hottest things that happens on our weekly televisions of pro wrestling. That is, of course, NX to the T. Yeah, let's break it down. What happened this past week on NXT?
NXT is back home in the Capitol Wrestling Center in Orlando, Florida, for this week's NXT. I guess the only thing they can do now is start setting up for Battleground in May, and see where they go. They got a little bit more time than the Dub had at getting ready for Backlash, which true. We still as of this moment, less than 2 weeks out from the show, still only have one guaranteed match set for the show as of NXT.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah, we kick things off with Joe Hendry coming to the ring to call out Trick Williams. Instead, he gets Dark State. They attack and take down Joe here, laying him out. Obviously, through all this, we see what Trick did at Rebellion and getting bodied on the mic by Joe. And yeah, Joe Hendry doesn't get to really do much because Dark State ruins him. Gigi Dolan, Tatum Paxley. By the way, Gigi Dolan, it's crazy. She was on TV. Gigi Dolan, Tatum Paxley speaking with Carmen Petrovich before Ashanti comes in and is kind of bossing around Carmen here to tell her she's got a title match against the Women's North American Champion, Sol Ruka. And Ashanti did this all by himself, and he's saying, things like, we are going to be champion and all that. And it's a very toxic relationship. We pointed it out in the past, and it's building to something we assumed, but also maybe they won't, maybe they will. I don't know. But Ashanti's coming across like a real dickhead here. And if you go to X post NXT, the whole show, yeah, he's a dick, but he's doing it so well. So Good
Yeah,
stuff.
also in the opening there, Jordan Grace, our EOS guy's talking to Ava, and they're talking about what's going on. And Jordan Grace comes in and says, "Hey, if you need a partner for a match, blah blah blah, I got your back."
You.
But yeah, so obviously they're setting up something for later in the night. Obviously, a little Roxanne Perez, Julia, Jordan Grace, Io Sky tag team match maybe.
Maybe the main event. Who knows?
First match tonight, though, is the North American title match that Ricky Saints promised Lexis Keane, even though Lexis Keane does not have the Heritage Cup to, title versus title match. But here we are. Ricky Saints is a man of his word. And he finishes off Lexis Keane with a tornado DDT and a Rochambeau at 8 minutes and 31 seconds. Honestly, I think I said this during the match, but Ricky Saints needs a better finisher. Good match here for Saints. He gets to beat a former champion and continue to establish himself. He's still very fresh on the roster when you really think about it. The easiest way to make someone look good as a newcomer is to have them win matches, and that's what they're doing.
Yep.
Not really sure what's next for King, but he could definitely use. He's good. There's something there. They just got to find the right fit for him.
We'll see what happens with that. The Culling are speaking backstage where kind of Spears is laying into him a little bit, but not really, saying it's just kind of time to reboot everything. We need to become more of a unit. Tony D'Angelo with the he's out here with the NXT security guards. And he comes through to call out Stax. Stax appears on a Titantron and says D'Angelo can't trust anyone. Tony kind of looks around at he does have some of the family members that are not named individuals there. And they're like, hey, it's not us, boss. It's not us. Security guards are sent out before Channing comes up. I missed that part there. As if he's going to come out, but he doesn't. And then the security guards just storm Tony D and attack him. Tony D tosses him out the ring before telling Stax that he has to prove himself to Tony. Stax needs to prove himself to Tony if he wanted to be the Don. He didn't. I don't know. You brought up in the news that Tony has been a name discussed to go to the main roster. Is there a world where they have a match and Stax beats Tony and he's the guy now and Tony does go up to the main roster? But I don't know what other role Tony could have besides being the Don if he goes up to the main roster. So it's kind of like I don't know. I don't know what's going on there.
I feel like
story.
Tony D'Angelo was probably Triple H's start, and then Shawn Michaels took over it.
Maybe, yeah.
But I don't know. I think he goes up. Does he keep the Don gimmick? I don't know.
What else has he got? That's he's made it. He's made himself that. And I mean, Luca's dead. Rizzo's in a safe house.
Well, we don't know that Luke is dead.
Luca's not there. Okay, he disappeared last week. We see Metaphor, Noam Dar, Ora Mensa, Jakar Jackson, and Lash Legend. We talked about this in the news. This was like their disbanding of the faction, the farewell, all right. And in the words, though, it is said that Ora is going to go dominate Evolve, and Jakar is going to make a name for herself. And Lash is, well, it's only Noam and Lash left after the releases. But I think this was just a cool moment. Maybe Shawn was like, you guys are getting released. Have your last moment on the screen together. You guys did a good job as Metaphor. Say your farewell. Because if Shawn Michaels knows anything about saying farewell to people, yeah, he does. He knows all about those. Kurt calls
multiple times. He lost his smile once for us.
Yes, he did.
I hate it when Vince Russo is right.
Ah, shit, yeah. Bruh.
Like he posted something about the attack on Zayn on Raw. And he's like, here's another thing. I guess Jey Uso and Sami Zayn aren't that close. I mean, everybody's running out there at the end to save Sami, but not Jey Uso. You guys made me believe they were so close. I think Sami told Jey he loved him 2 weeks ago. Jamie Noble is out there, but Jey Uso is not out there helping his best buddy. Right, fucking hate it when Vince Russo is right about something.
Is he right, though? Because Jey got knocked out pretty clean by Logan Paul.
Nah, dude, no. This is wrestling.
Okay, fuck. Yeah, you're right. Vince follows me on Twitter. Shout out to Vince Russo. I don't know.
I hate it when he's right though, but he's right on that one. Jay should have been out there.
Fucking nailed it. Jimmy too.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
Where's
That's
Jimmy on
Raw. Though.
SmackDown?
No,
Oh.
it's Raw. Jimmy's not on Raw. First match of the night. No, but second match of the night. You did a lot of talking there. Carmen Petrovic versus Sol Ruka. Sol Ruka with the Soul Snatcher at 3 minutes and 28 seconds for the mini squash here. Yeah, not much really to see here other than the Soul Snatcher looking cool as always. Although she almost missed this one. Petrovic did not. I don't know what their plan is for her, but they don't book her very well right now. I guess
I don't know.
they need a challenger for Ruka, but Carmen's obviously not the choice. Post match, Petrovic. I guess post match, Petrovic is pissed off at Adonis and kicks him down. That's probably not over though. That's probably not.
Yeah, they'll probably get back together. I don't know. Toxic relationships, but like I don't know. They kind of stuck Carmen in this relationship deal with Ashante. Ashante went on Twitter and said, "Hey Bailey, I heard you're looking for a love angle," so he's clearly moving on. Because Bailey did do that in the Van Fleet interview, saying she would like to do a romance angle. So Ashante's like, "Hey, I got you."
Yeah, at least he's paying attention to the little stuff.
He's watching the product. Trick comes to the ring. He brags about how he's going to be in the season finale of All American. We get Hollywood Trick chants a little bit. I heard him. That was also made famous because Joe Hendry mentioned it about him. He talks about attacking Joe at Rebellion. He calls out Obafemi saying he wants his NXT title back. Ava comes out and says, no, you got to go to the line. You got to earn that now. You don't just get to call your shot. And that there will be a 25-man battle royale next week. If he wins, he can get the shot at Oba's title. I was like, all right. Cool. We get a Roxanne Perez Julius segment here. They kind of just are buddies now. And by the way, in this segment, Julia's English was really good. Just saying. She actually came across pretty clear. At first I didn't like you, but now I understand your mindset, blah, blah. So they're a team, and then you talked about, I don't know, are they on Raw now, or what are we? I don't know. Obafemi is interviewed backstage, but Undertaker and Undertaker's LFG rookies show up and say they're coming for Oba and it's an NXT title in the future. And Oba's like, okay. Yeah, good. All right.
Good luck with that.
Okay, buddy. Good luck.
Next match tonight is the NXT Tag Team titles, and it's weird saying this, but Fraxium is not involved in this match. Hank and Tank versus Josh Briggs and Yoshiki Inamura. The neckbreaker power slam combination from Hank and Tank retains the titles at 10 minutes and 31 seconds. This is actually a pretty decent match overall. I enjoyed it. But you got to think that's it for Briggs and Inamura because they had that miscommunication at the end. And they're pretty much going out in the same fashion they came in, doing very little and not standing out. I've never really seen one of the Timu's Sons of Anarchy is going on here. I think we mentioned them the one time, but not they. Yeah. I don't know. The story just never developed with them. I think they're trying to break up the group with the miscommunication, and we probably got a one-on-one down the line. Mm-hmm. It just didn't hit, but overall, the wrestling work in this match was very very, very well done. So I don't think that's the issue. I just don't think that they make a good team.
That's fair. We got the No Quarter Catch crew, Miles Borman and Claire Tavion Heights in this situation. Talking about, the Battle Royale coming up, and Miles is going to enter it and asking why Charlie's not around. Apparently, Charlie was upset because Miles
not cool, man.
With Siobhan,
not cool, man.
And Miles is like, okay. And then Ren's like, well, you got to clear it with Charlie if you're going to do the Battle Royal. And he's like, no, I'm doing the Battle Royal. And even Tavion is kind of like, I kind of want to be in the Battle Royal too. To get a shot at the NXT championship.
And Ren is just like, what's going on, guys?
I don't know what to do. The really, honestly, the biggest news from this episode of NXT. Chase U is fucking back, baby. All right.
And
We're
fuck
back.
your question, Chad.
Fuck you, Chad. Some snitch ass, bitch ass Chad trying to be like Professor Chase. Well, they're showing up late. Shut up, Chad. Chase, fucking throw up the U's, baby. Chase U's back.
That was the most fun. The most fun segment
Just
of the entire week.
shitting on Chad. What did Chad do wrong? I mean, he was.
Nobody likes a snitch, man.
Nobody likes a snitch, dude. Fuck Chads. Kalani Jordan confronts Soruka backstage. Zarya interrupts her. Basically, Kalani's called her shot to go for the title, but Zarya said, no. We're not doing this like you did it, Kalani. If you want a shot at Soul, you have to go through me first. We also get Hank and Tank, who are backing up Joe Hendry, saying, we got your back if you want to handle Dark State. Sorry, excuse me. Was it announced? I think it was announced that we will have they'll be teaming on NXT.
Yeah, next week, tomorrow,
so
Tuesday,
tomorrow, whatever. The next episode of NXT,
I mean, it is tomorrow for you, actually, technically.
The next episode of NXT, Hank and Tank will be teaming with Joe Hendry to take on 3 members of Dark State, and yeah, that leads us to the main event,
which is Roxanne Perez and Julia versus Jordan Grace and Io Sky. Io Sky with the over the moonsault for the pin at 14 minutes and 25 seconds. This match was a lot of fun. They were all working their asses off here and had a hell of a match. Sky, it's kind of weird. Io Sky being back down. She's the women's world champion. She's down in NXT, but she doesn't seem like she's miles ahead of the rest of the talent. And that's not a knock on Io. That's just a compliment to how great the talent in NXT is. I mean, you got Roxanne Perez, Julia, Jordan Grace. This is all main roster talent. And Io Sky was like, you put her in a match with other members of NXT, maybe she looks miles ahead, but they all work so well together here. It's just a testament to how deep the NXT women's roster is, period. Outstanding match here. Probably one of the better matches NXT has had in a hot minute. And, of course, post-match, Perez is frustrated as per usual because she keeps on fucking losing.
Maybe stop coming back to NXT, Roxanne. Damn it. Stop. Just go. You're good. Main roster that shit, girl. Do your thing. Worried about what's going on NXT. You don't even have a number one contenders match. You're just there with Julia. Like, the number one contenders match is Julia, which Roxanne's gonna be on NXT this week, isn't she? Because she's gonna be in Julia's corner when she faces Jordan. Roxanne, leave, please. we thought you've been gone forever, and no. And also, I want to go back just a tad bit. Is Becky Lynch the reason we just completely scrapped Bayley and Roxanne's feud that was going on the main roster?
Yeah, 100%.
What the fuck, Becky? Guess that just doesn't work for her, brother.
Becky Hogan.
NXT is
her and Mercedes will probably get it. I'm surprised her and Mercedes aren't best friends.
Right? NXT was good. I mean, they don't really ever have bad episodes. Truly, we say this every week. It's kind of a broken record, but this was just one of those episodes. You mentioned it at the start. Got to set some seeds for Battleground. We know what's coming on this next episode of NXT. Really look forward to the Battle Royale to see who shows up. I assume there's going to be a TNA involvement. We'll see who comes out of that. If you could make a prediction, who the hell comes out of the NXT Battle Royale to face Oba? It's not Trick, is it?
It probably is Trick.
It might be fucking Trick. Or, no, he's in a match, so it's not Joe. Javon?
Probably Trick. No.
I mean, Javon was right there in the main event. There's that story to build on that he was almost there again. Fuck, it is Trick. No, Trick doesn't make sense. It does, but like it's pointless. Like he can't beat Oba.
Well, no, that's the thing. He probably is going to beat Oba.
No way. You and Oba? No. It's gonna be Ilya Dragunov. He should be back.
He's not due back till September.
What? Did he have something go wrong in his recovery?
Or is that somebody else? No, that's Ilya.
No way.
Who else is out right now?
Bronson Reed.
No, he's undetermined.
No
at the
way.
moment.
Ilya till September?
I think so.
Didn't he? No, he got hurt right after WrestleMania last year.
No, he was at Stand and Deliver. Then he did a couple months. He was injured in like the summer.
That's a hell of a long time. What was it? ACL?
Oh yeah. Yep.
Let's look it up while I get my last thoughts here. Yeah, the Battle Royale, fuck, it might be Trick to win it unless there's a surprise swerve. You got Gallus that just got released. I was thinking of Dark State, just thinking of factions there. Dark State, I assume they're going to go with.
He injured himself at the end of September or mid-September.
Okay, then it is a year recovery. That's fair. Was it ACL?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, that's true. Yeah, NXT, man. I love NXT. Love watching NXT. I look forward to it, and I'm looking forward to the next episode of NXT to watch the Battle Royale and see what else they got to cook up. And of course, RK, Chase U's back. That's what matters. Chase U is back.
We're fucking back, baby.
Fuck you, Chad.
I read somewhere that it was September. Maybe it was somebody else. I can't remember. It might have been somebody else. But anyways, nonetheless, there is no update. He's 6 to 9 months for an ACL. So I just remember reading an update somewhere. Main event of NXT was fantastic. They're building the Battleground card, which is making that seem a little bit more exciting. Lots of matches that could be coming out of all this stuff that happened today. You got Jordan Grace involved. You got Julia. You got somehow Roxanne Perez still involved. Trick Williams, Ova Femi, Joe Hendry, Han Can Tank, all that shit. Josh Briggs, Yoshiki Inamura maybe, in some crazy street fight, Japanese kimono match or something. I don't know.
Well, I wonder if Inamura has to go back to Japan. I wonder if that was legit. I don't know.
I don't know. That seemed like it was just part of this. It's got to get Ava too. I'm gonna go home. I suck. I can't be here anymore. Yeah, they're doing a good job balancing the guest stars too on NXT. They do everything so well. Shawn Michaels runs a tight ship there.
Yes, he does. Okay. Let's go back. We talked about it. This is SmackDown from May 2nd, 2025. We're into the month of May, the dog days of May in professional wrestling. We're a month after WrestleMania, and it's always like a bit of a kind of drag, but not really. But I think we're on a good path, and we'll see what happens here on SmackDown.
Yeah, and this episode of SmackDown is from the Wells Fargo Arena in Des Moines, Iowa. We are a week out from Backlash, which just seems so crazy that it's coming up so quick. And you know what? We still only have one match announced for the show, so let's get some things happening here. The main event is definitely set up, obviously Orton Cena, but you're going to need more than one match to run a pay-per-view there, guys.
Full disclosure, I've only saw clips and promos from this. I did not watch SmackDown. I was having a shitty weekend, to be fair. So SmackDown was not on my radar, but I did catch up a bit watching YouTube clips and whatnot. So RK may have to help me a little bit there because he did watch SmackDown. The Damian Priest, Jacob Fatu, Solo Sikoa, LA Knight segment, followed by the LA Knight Damian Priest promo. I assume you have some info on this because the sites I'm looking at don't. Which
I don't write notes for promos.
Oh, well, apparently the site I'm looking at doesn't write notes for shit. Let's get go ahead and just knock out the match, man. Damian Priest, LA Knight. Or I'll be smart and I'll do this.
The show opens. Damian Priest sees Solo and Jacob. Damian Priest shoves Jacob. Solo shoves Damian Priest. They're getting a scuffle. The talent, the agents come in and break it up. Then LA Knight just kind of walks by, takes a look, and kind of chuckles as he heads off to the ring to cut his promo. Pretty much talks about how Knight, he lost the U.S. title to Fatu and his chance at a rematch, and a lot of that was all due to Solo Sikoa. Priest certainly did not help things last week, and while Knight has no problem with him, Priest is going to make him a problem. Priest says Sikoa got involved, but Knight is the one who lost his title at WrestleMania. Plain and simple. Don't be a crybaby like Drew. Knight did lose, but he's not getting a title shot because of Priest. That doesn't work for Priest, but Knight says they don't have a problem so far. But if we keep going this direction, we definitely will have a problem. Priest is like, we want a referee down here right now, and let's do this right now, and that's what we get. It's just LA Knight continues to cook. He really does, and Damian Priest is fantastic too. Everything, you got a good mix of people here for this feud right now. So
yeah, a part of me wants. You're right. LA Knight just doesn't miss for some reason, and I feel like LA Knight as U.S. champion will happen again for some reason. I just think it may happen again, or a big title match. But he's not winning the title off Cena. But I bet he faces Cena for the title at some point during this run.
I think so too. And that leads us into our first match. The ref does come down. We got Damian Priest versus LA Knight. Nick Aldis does make it for a future U.S. title shot, which makes no sense because LA Knight and Drew, what's going on here? But hey, maybe a fatal four-way. Match, surprisingly, or not surprisingly, ends in a DQ when Priest hits a lifting downward spiral onto the apron. But out is Solo Sikoa to go after Priest for the DQ at 11:02. They were going rather well at the end here, and I wanted to see where it was going, but then the DQ came. But they were really starting to cook. You don't want either of them taking a fall, so the DQ is the obvious way to go here.
Mm-hmm.
Later on in the show, we find out for sure, but there is a good chance that two of them, likely with Drew McIntyre, will be getting a title match in the near future, like, let's say, Backlash.
We need matches for Backlash.
Post-match, Knight and Priest get together to beat Sikoa down. Cue Jacob Fatu, though, and the good guys are, as per usual, with Jacob taken up pretty damn quickly.
We get a look back at Fraxium's debut from the last week's SmackDown, and then we're showing Fraxium. They're ready to face Pretty Deadly. Pretty Deadly do interrupt here. They talk some shit, and hey, we're ready to rock and roll with Fraxium versus Pretty Deadly.
And not surprisingly, again, not a lot of surprises on this show. Fraxium take the win at 9 minutes and 30 seconds after the typical Super Spanish Fly into the Phoenix Splash gets the finish. Basically, take two teams who can do some good stuff in the ring, and it will work out rather well for Fraxium in the end. Fraxium continues to look good in their start on SmackDown, which comes with a pair of wins so far. Good stuff, and odds are Fraxium is going to be mixed right into those tag team titles real quick.
Yeah, I saw some stuff going around the internet, and after I watched it, I tried to pay attention. I forget which Pretty Deadly member took the pin, but they got busted open, and people were saying on the internet that he was supposed to kick out, maybe, but he didn't kick out for the finish.
Oh, they say this shit every week.
I was like,
why does it matter?
I didn't
why
see
does
it.
it matter?
They almost got 10 minutes. So I think that was supposed to happen. So I wasn't really worried about that. Mishin, VFab, they want the tag titles. We get to see the Secret Service to bring in Chelsea Green, as we mentioned earlier. Draped in all black. She is not happy. She's depressed. Her title, by the way, was hijacked by the Deep State. Chelsea wants a recount. This is, by the way,
just how can you have a recount?
Taking shots at American government to a point there. The Deep State, the recounting, whatever. But instead, Nick Aldis has Piper Niven face Zelina Vega. Maybe Piper can get the title, and become champion. And this makes Chelsea Green almost faint. We get a look back at Randy Orton versus John Cena from TLC 2013. Yeah, these two have been going at it since, God, forever. Nia Jax comes out, who is so happy the fans are glad she's back. She's here to get the women's title back, of course, from Tiffany. So Tiffany comes out to interrupt. Tiffany says this isn't the same version of her who's been around for so long, but she's ready to fight anytime, anywhere. Naomi interrupts and brings up things that Stratton and Jax put her through. Naomi runs down Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill, and then they come out. Jade comes out to go after Naomi. In a frenzy, Nick Aldis comes out and makes a tag team match for later tonight. Carmelo Hayes is giving Miz a nice little pep talk here because the Miz is going to have a match with Aleister Black. Aleister Black's first match back in the WWE since his return from AEW. Or I guess we could call his stint in AEW like a vacation.
I mean, you really do a lot there, so I mean, whatever. Was he part of the ones that tried to kill Edge though? No, that was House of Black, wasn't it?
Yeah, but was he there?
Pretty sure he was.
Oh, he was part of that. I think it was like Brody and Julia and Buddy. I think Aleister wasn't involved. No, yeah, he was. He was. They had a match. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
they did. They had a match at pay-per-view, I think.
Yeah, isn't that where Edge broke his leg?
Yes, it's all coming back to me now. Yes, that is that match. That is that match. They didn't try
Anyways,
to kill Edge. Edge kill himself.
Well, I mean, AEW tried to kill Edge.
We're live on YouTube. Chill. Not literally. Anyway.
Unalived Edge.
Yeah, that's it. Unalived.
We're
kicked.
No, it's not.
We've said that.
We post those.
Yeah, you're right. We don't have enough subscribers for him to care. All right, keep it moving.
No, we don't. We really do not. I think we've had one guy call us old and need to grow up, and some dude say hello. And
that guy.
leave. But hey, he was nice at least. The other guy was not nice.
Being weird. I don't understand. What are you talking about? Nobody's here. I'm not watching. Okay, clearly you have to have some sort of algorithm that got this video to you. So clearly you like watching wrestling, or you're just a piece
unless
of
he's
shit,
just one of those
like
little little fucking 5'2" fat trolls that sits on and just scrolls through all the streams, opens up stream. You suck. Close. You suck.
Probably. Anyway, we're going on a tangent. Aleister Black, the Miz, he's back. Aleister Black.
And yeah, we got Aleister Black in his first match back versus The Miz. Aleister Black wins with a black mask that quite literally takes Miz's head off for the win at 9 minutes and 30 seconds. Honestly, what else were we expecting in this match? Other than maybe a squash match, but perfectly fine way to go for the return for Aleister. Miz is, the journeyman wrestler now. You can put him in any situation. He's going to deliver for you. Good chance that Carmelo Hayes is probably next for Black. That's probably going to be a good kickoff feud. Good to kick off the feud there.
Should cook. Those two, I think, would put on great work. Santos Escobar is mocking Rey Fenix because he lost to El Grande Americano at WrestleMania. Even as Rey Mysterio's handpicked replacement, Escobar thinks he should be Mysterio's replacement. But Phoenix would rather fight Santos tonight, and that match will happen. Quick and moving, and yeah.
And that leads us into our next match. Is Zelina Vega defending versus Piper Niven. Was this the title match? I can't remember now. I literally just watched this like 10 hours ago.
It was not. It was not.
No, it wasn't. Match. I was just trying to think because I thought they said earlier they were giving her a title match and they didn't.
Title was not. Nope. Title was not on the line.
No, but I thought for sure they said in the promo.
They did. They did. Because he had talked about maybe Piper would go to bring it back. Well, Chelsea was like, oh god, no, it was. The title was not on the line.
Weird. I hate it when they do that. Actually, they do it a lot where they say something early and then later on the show it doesn't happen. You're like, didn't you? Okay, maybe double check your writing next time. But okay. Yeah. Anyway, Zelina Vega wins with a jackknife roll-up pin at 11:05. Usually having a match between two wrestlers with a very large size difference, just mainly because Zelina Vega is a tiny little woman. It's a hard way to go, but they managed to pull it off. It worked well enough. Obviously, not having Vega lose so early into her title run is a good thing. And this just adds more ammo for Chelsea to be more pissed off. So it's good stuff. We're obviously going to get a rematch at some point between Zelina and Chelsea, but let's have some, Zelina dismantling the team a little bit first, and then a little back and forth.
And let Chelsea be depressed and upset. And
she's good stuff.
Jacob
good stuff.
Fatu is ready to go and fight. Nick Aldis gives him a triple threat match at Backlash against LA Knight and Damian Priest. But Solo brings up Drew McIntyre winning that match last week, so Aldis makes it a fatal 4-way. Solo says to Nick, "You're kind of screwing Jacob over here," and Nick's response is, "You brought that up, so you're really the one screwing Jacob here." Just saying.
You know, that's a very good point. Very strong point. Solo did bring it up.
Exactly. Nia Jax wants Naomi to stay out of her way in the main event. No, that's not the correct order. I'm sorry. Randy Orton. I'm looking at two different things. I got my notes I'm reading here, and then the one you sent me, and some of the stuff's not. It's fine. It's fine. We'll do it live. We'll do it live. Randy Orton comes on talks about he's been seeing John Cena for years and knows that Cena was a walking, talking cartoon character during the PG era. At the same time, Orton was doing everything he could to get to the top. He talks about how Cena's obsession with merchandising, which made him that much more money. Last week, Cena said that he raised a bunch of children, but the only thing he raised was the price of his merchandise, so the parents had to work harder. What happened to loyalty and respect? Cena has promised to end the Orton legacy, but that is not going to happen. Orton sees Cena as the latest legend that he has to kill, and he promises to punt his Lego-shaped head through the arch in St. Louis.
Oh, I laughed so hard at that part.
Cook. Randy was fired up here. And let's be honest here. As someone that watched wrestling, and these two are going at it every freaking week, this just feels good, and it hits right there. Nia Jax saying she wants Naomi to stay out of her way in the main event match. Naomi's like, all right, sure. Randy runs into R-Truth, who says Orton has no chance. Jimmy comes in to say he's got this. He tells R-Truth to cool it with that shit. Yeah, R-Truth's a
great stuff.
He's just defending, and he's defending his guy.
It's his fucking childhood hero.
He wants to be like him when he grows up. All right,
Jimmy, you're 59, Truth, but
let Jimmy and R-Truth keep doing these interactions because Jimmy's fucking hilarious too. So
Jimmy's, well, I mean, you ask anybody, Jimmy's probably the funniest guy in the locker room. They all say. And that leads us into our next match: Rey Fénix versus Santos Escobar. A top rope Meteora from Phoenix gets him the pinfall win at 12 minutes and 25 seconds. This was very similar to the earlier Fraxian match, as the idea is simply to make Phoenix look good, and as he's still gaining some momentum on SmackDown. Phoenix is in kind of a weird spot, though, because he was put into WrestleMania match in Rey Mysterio's place, but took his first loss there at WrestleMania. But he's winning during the week, so
yeah.
What I still think you got to get the Lucha Bros together. Just
you do
fuck all this solo shit.
But Rey Fénix lost that match via nefarious means with the plate in the head and all that. But I get what you're saying. Tiffany Stratton and Jade Cargill are bickering over the tag match coming up.
Jared Cargill.
Next week, though, Jared Cargill will be facing Nia Jax in a number one.
Your Southern's coming out.
We take a look back at last week's TLC match with the Street Profits retaining the tag team titles in what would only be described as an instant classic. We also get Santos Escobar yelling at Las Garza for not being there when Andrade does show up here. Santos Escobar, and he doesn't like Andre, who is still trying to get in Berto's head. This is
you went from a very minimal Southern twang to
just
Lieutenant Dan. You got no legs.
It escalated to a different accent and pronouncing Spanish names incorrectly because that's how rednecks roll. They don't like none of those Santo Escobars yelling. Yeah. Anyway, Santo Escobar not happy with Los Escobar's. Andrade's still trying to get in Berto's head. It's the typical Latino versus Latino thing that WWE has been pushing on SmackDown. So keep it moving. By the way, main event coming up is I just want to say this is not what I expected to be the main event of SmackDown, but it was, and that's pretty cool. Shout
And
out
it
to the
fucking worked
ladies.
really well too in the end. But yeah, main event: Jade Cargill versus Nia Jax and Naomi with Tiffany Stratton at her side. I said that weirdly, I know. Finish comes when Nia Jax charges Cargill in the corner, but Cargill steps aside. Nia hits Naomi instead, which then sets up an absolutely monstrous power bomb from Cargill on Nia. Absolutely ridiculous for the pin at 11 minutes and 30 seconds. She definitely did it better than Bayley did it. Cargill got to look good in the end with the powerbomb and staying in the ring for a while. Gives her some extra ring time, which she definitely needs. That should help her a bit, I hope. And, working with someone experienced like Naomi should also help. It's a good partner to be doing a program with. I guess this is at least a slightly different cast going after the Tiffany's title.
Yeah.
Even though I still find it really hard to believe that Naomi should be in the picture at all because Jade beat her so cleanly, but here we are. Post-match, Cargill grabs the title, but gets absolutely decked by Naomi, who stands tall with the title to end the show.
Yes. Very interesting ending. Naomi is not in the number one contenders match for next week. It is Jade versus Nia. Winner, I think, faces Tiffany at Backlash.
Fatal 4-way?
No, I think Naomi will be around. I think Naomi's going to win Women's Money in the Bank this year.
Ooh.
And honestly, if she's still doing the caution thing, the briefcase wrapped with the caution tape, that's going to be a cool thing.
Oh, fucking do it, Trips. Do it, Trips.
So I think Naomi, her holding the title is just a symbol of what's to come, maybe. Now, as for Jade Nia, I think Jade wins. Does Jade beat Tiffany though for the title?
Oh God, I hope not. I cannot live in a world that Jade Cargill is a fucking world champion.
I think maybe, and I think Jade versus Charlotte Flair is going to happen at SummerSlam.
Ugh, that's so gross.
Sadly. But overall, SmackDown, 3 hours. I know we're getting close back to the 2-hour thing. I can't really comment much on it because I didn't watch it live. And I was not tuned in as much as I could have been. But what I did see, and my biggest takeaway, Fraxium is a future tag team champions of everything. They're so good. They work so well together. And Jade Cargill actually didn't look bad in that match. She's gotten better.
I gave up. I gave up on her
Booker
ages ago.
Like a powerhouse.
No.
Boom.
No. I'll hate her forever.
Oh, all right.
Once I decide to hate something, I never come back.
That's fair. That's fair.
Like, I should be cheering for Canadian teams in NHL playoffs, but I'm only cheering for Winnipeg because Oilers suck. Toronto Maple Leafs suck. I hate those two teams. I decided this a long time ago. I will never like them. I would rather any American team win over Toronto or Edmonton.
I think Toronto might get it done this year.
No, they will not.
I don't know.
They got to face Florida in the second round.
Totally honest, I think Dallas is maybe the team to get it done. They're good.
They barely beat Colorado, and Colorado wasn't.
Are we acting like Colorado's not good? What are we doing here?
Not that good this year.
They still got a dog.
They traded away their best player who beat them.
Exactly. It's karma.
In Game 7.
They waited till Game 7 to do it just so he could get the last laugh officially.
No, Colorado, their goaltending's not that great, so it's kind of like an Edmonton situation. Their offense will
Dallas
only so
has
far.
A great goalie. That's what I pull for.
Honestly, Connor Hellebuyck getting over his playoffs yips tonight. I think Winnipeg comes out of the West.
I don't know if he got over. We're talking about hockey. We're supposed to finish up. He fucking sucks in the playoffs. I don't give a shit.
Not Game 7.
In Game 7 at home, he won every game at home. Look what he did on the road. He got pulled every fucking game.
Yeah, but they were the President's Trophy, so guess how many games they have home the rest of the playoffs? More than the other teams.
I understand that, but that motherfucker better figure it out. Okay, you can't.
No,
sweat it
it's
out
like
that.
anything. You got to slay the dragon. He's never gotten out of the first round. He's now out of the first round.
Toronto got out of the first round finally.
Yeah, they've done that before and then fucking blew up in the second round.
Austin Matthews.
They don't have
Toronto.
goaltending.
Ah, Wall's good. He's good. He's all right. He does the job.
See, even start. I thought it was Stolars that was starting for them.
I thought it was just. I thought it was Wall. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. They're I don't know. Mitch Marner's playing really good for some reason. He's gonna probably not be in Toronto next year. I know that. Because he's gonna probably demand a lot of money.
Yeah, they're already paying 4 of their players over $12 million a year.
And they have to make a decision on that Matthew Nyes, who I think is really good. Somebody's gonna offer shit.
Yeah, I hate Toronto. I hate Edmonton. So I'm cheering for Winnipeg. And if Winnipeg doesn't go, I'm cheering for Washington.
I'm hooking my wagon to Dallas. I just like Jake Ottinger. I think he's a hell of a goalie.
Dallas is up against Edmonton.
Winnipeg.
No, Winnipeg. Edmonton's up against Vegas. Dallas won't beat Winnipeg.
Oof. Edmonton may not beat Vegas.
Edmonton definitely will not beat Vegas with their goaltending.
I love Jack
They
Eichel.
barely they did beat LA in 6 games, 4-2, but they got messed up in 2 of the games and they were letting a lot of goals in. Vegas has a way stronger offense than LA and Los Angeles does, and Vegas has better goaltending than Los Angeles does, and Vegas has better defensemen than Los Angeles. Edmonton is not getting past Vegas.
Who's the net for Vegas? Is it Aiden Hill?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Darcy Kemper's good, but LA, I mean, yeah, Hill's better than Skinner. Hill's better than Kemper.
And Jack Eichel's a pretty good goodie there. And then you got Stoner and they're
Pietrangelo and all those guys.
Defensively, Vegas is really good. That's what,
Yeah, Edmonton's not getting past them. Not with their goaltending. Edmonton has, and their defense is not good either.
Yeah, but
you got McDavid and you got
Draisaitl. Yeah, and apparently Corey Perry, who just thinks he's turning back the clock for some reason.
And Toronto ain't getting past Florida because Toronto beat the one Tkachuk brother, but now they're facing the better Tkachuk brother.
Florida owns Toronto in the playoffs. It's been highly known the past few years. I wish they would change the way they do the playoffs in the NHL. I get it, but I don't.
What?
Like the first round, you're playing someone from your division, right?
No.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Right? You sure about that? Who did Washington play? Who Washington play?
The top 2 teams of each division get to play the 2 wildcard teams.
Right.
And then it's 2 and 3 of each division play each other. So unless those 2 wildcard teams magically end up in the same division, then no, you're wrong.
Well, no. Edmonton and the Kings. Same division.
Yeah, Edmonton was in first place. They were 2nd and 3rd.
I understand that. Same division, though.
Yeah, but that doesn't matter.
And Florida in the first round has always played Toronto. Same division, right?
No, they're not in the same division.
No, they're not. They're not. All right, we've been going for like 2 hours and now we're talking about hockey, and I think I'm just all over the place. And maybe
so 1, 2, 3 from each division makes the playoffs, right? You got 4 divisions, and then the 2 next best teams from the conference get the 2 wildcard spots. The first place team in each division plays whoever has the better record of the 2 top teams plays the 8th seed, and whoever has the second best record of the 2 top teams play the 7th seed, and then 2 and 3 of each division play each other.
Right. That's kind of where I was meaning. 2 and 3 from each division play each other. From each division. So you're gonna have 2 teams from the same division playing.
Although I'm not even sure that's true.
You know what? Fuck it. I don't care. But I think it is Carolina. Yeah, Carolina played New Jersey. That's Metropolitan, and then
Dallas played
played.
Colorado.
That's Central.
But Colorado, yeah, Colorado's in,
Colorado Central. St. Louis played Winnipeg. St. Louis and Winnipeg are both in the Central too, right? But that's different because St. Louis was the last team to get in the playoffs, and Winnipeg.
So Toronto played Ottawa, Washington played Montreal. That's correct. And then Carolina, New Jersey, Tampa, and Florida. Yeah, no, that's how it works. Dallas, Colorado's, Los Angeles, Edmonton. Yeah.
Right.
Jets were the highest, so they played the Blues, who were in 8th. And then Vegas played Wild, who were in 7th. So,
and then
you're 100%. So 2 and 3 of each division play each other in the first round. Then the 2 top teams get the 2 bottom teams.
In my head, I just thought it would be different to change it up.
So
you have 1 through 8. 1 plays 8, 2 plays 7, 3 plays 6, 4 plays 5 is what I was thinking they should do.
Well, no, honestly, they should go back to the old-fashioned 1 through 16, and the first team plays the 16th team, and the second team plays the 15th team.
That could be cool too.
And fuck the conferences at that point.
Yeah. Why don't we just go on a tangent? What's your final thoughts about SmackDown? What do you think? They're amazing. NHL playoffs.
Basically, it was kind of SmackDown where a recap would do you just as good as watching the show. Yeah, that was a shot. Anyways, yeah, it was a good SmackDown, actually. I was very, very entertained by it. Not that anything really stood out over anything else, but it was just it flowed really well, and the 2 hours went by in no time. So it was good stuff.
Huh? You said the 2 hours, the 3 hours.
Well, if you go on Netflix right now and you press play on Friday Night SmackDown, it's 2 hours long.
No commercials. True.
Anyways, yeah. Not a terrible show, not a great show. It was a good show. And obviously you're following up from that TLC match last week, so that's hard to follow.
For sure. All right, yeah, we did this live. This was interesting. This was new. We'll probably try it again. And I'll be more prepared and I'll have notes ready, of course. Just because, yeah, I gotta get go ahead, tap your thing again. Tap it. Tap your PC. Because I gotta get me one of those.
What you want to know the craziest thing? I have not touched my PlayStation 5 since I bought this in.
I'm not shocked by that at all. Not shocked at all. We gotta close the show as we always close the show. RK, what is your show of the week?
I want to say the first SmackDown, but no, I'm going to use that for my favorite wrestler of the week. Raw was my show of the week. Seth Rollins, Braun Breaker, killed it. Sami Zayn, all that stuff, killed it. Raw.
Damn it, you think you just convinced me of that? You're right, Raw. No, fuck that. That fucking SmackDown from 2 weeks. No, I'm going with that SmackDown. That SmackDown cooked. It was fun. It was awesome. Aleister Black came back. I dug that. I like that SmackDown. Wrestler of the week, though. Who is it?
Street Profits.
Yeah, it's hard not to argue with that, but I will choose something else. And my choice is Tops the Street Profits. Goddamn. Can I just be everybody in that TLC match? Braun Breaker.
Good choice.
He just killed it. He killed Sami Zayn, and he played that, I'm the pit bull on a leash and taking orders from Seth pretty good. So, yeah. All right. That was the live episode. Episode number 51, Top Rope Renegades, This Week in Wrestling. We'll probably do it again. That was fun. I'll be more prepared. I'll have notes and actually not be struggling to get shit figured out. And yeah, stay tuned. We'll be doing this again. And we'll hopefully be bringing back the watch recaps from WCW, WWE. Just WrestleMania season finally coming to a close. Get back into that. Kurt's got to make some money and buy a PC so we can compete with RK and his brilliance. Anyway, with that being said, though, I
did a PC rating. I put in all the stuff that I have in here onto a PC rating site, and it gave it a 98%, as in out of 1,000 of the top tier games on the market, it can play 998. No, something like that. 982 of those games can be played on this same flawlessly.
The hell can you not play?
Probably something like maxed out on all settings because I only have a 3080 in here instead of like a 4080 or 5090 or something.
All right. Well, you heard it here first. Get a PC. But that being said, I'm Kurt.
Hey, and the prices of consoles going up, it only makes sense. Consoles like $800 now. Fucking, I mean, you see the price of the Switch? Ridiculous. PC
And
under $2,000.
With a PC, you
can
actually
upgrade.
you don't have to pay for monthly things like PlayStation Plus or Xbox. You just go to Steam and you buy the games. Anyway, that is it. That is our live edition, episode 51. We'll be back, and stay tuned. Episode 52 coming soon. We're a year doing this, man. We are there. Penultimate, as RK said. So with that being said, I'm Kurt. That is RK. We are the Top Rope Renegades, and we will talk to you guys next.
This Week in Wrestling, hosted by Kurt and RK.